Hey, everybody. We are here. Let's get that new theme song going. Hang on.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. And if you threw a party, invited everyone you knew, you would see the biggest gift would be from me, and the card attached would say, thank you for being a friend.
All right, we're here. I didn't want to close it out. How are we doing, everybody? This is Golden Guys, just like the Golden Girls, without all the sex appeal. Let's just welcome back Mike. How are you?
I'm good.
Welcome back, everybody. We're all
on, finally.
How
no
are
more
you?
Smoke until the next fire blows up here, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, you got through the fires okay? The smoke was a little much?
Well, you know, you're stuck in our house for a lot of stuff, and then they're like, now you can't go outside. So that really sucked.
Yeah,
similar
to me. I grew up in when I was a child in Montana, and I was living in Montana at the time of what was that volcano that exploded in Mount St. Helens?
Yeah. Mount St. Helens, and
I remember. Yeah, I remember it wasn't winter, but it was snowing, and I was a little kid, and it was snowing outside, and it was ashes covering everything. We had to stay inside, and I remember my parents would go out, and they had to wear face masks, and everything was covered with ash. So
I remember that.
I was thinking about that when I was watching some of the coverage of what was going on over there, and
yeah, I remember. I wasn't involved. I was in New York, but I do remember watching TV and that.
Yeah, same with me. I saw it on when I lived in New York. On now it's like right around the corner from where.
Yeah, you're close to it now. Now I'm over here in New York.
No. Well, anyway, we're back. DS, how we doing, by the way?
I am great, thanks. I finally won a Golden Age book on an auction.
Nice.
Amazing. I already showed you guys. I'll show you later. I'll show you guys now if you want to see it.
Yeah, we'll show and tell now. We'll start with DS, then we'll do
I don't have it in hand yet because I just won it this past week on Comic. But I finally got a Golden Age book.
Oh, let's get that up there. Beware, number
10.
10, right? Yeah. The zombie. Look at that.
So
nice
book.
Nice.
White to white. It's got this color breaking crease, but I mean, it's outside the art, so it doesn't bother me too much. But a really decently presenting aside from that. Good page quality, Frank Frazetta cover. And
I was going to say, that's the great Frazetta, yeah.
Yeah, so I felt like the price on this was reasonable, but not a steal, but decent. I think this book is a little underpriced in the market right now, and Frazetta stuff is really catching on to a wider audience at this point. So this is a good investment book and a killer book.
I was at a con this weekend. We were talking. I was talking to a few Golden Age people that had some Golden Age. We were talking about, and I asked them, "Have you seen anything as hot as Baker's right now?" And he says, "Actually, Frazetta is right now. Just he peaked." And now he's just way more than they thought. He said he's consistently been going higher than anybody else. It's almost Frazetta is that much better than anything else. You know, everybody else is gonna have to catch up to him right now.
Well, some of his famous funnies have exploded in the last year, and the famous funnies and this Beware are my top Frazetta comic book covers that I want. I don't have any of them except now I have the Beware. Still want to get a couple of those famous funnies, but I feel like they're all in the same category of quality by him. And the famous funnies have been exploding. The Beware was hot and it cooled off for a minute, and I got it for a good price, but I think it has room to grow. So
nice.
Awesome book. I'm real happy with it.
Yeah, I was looking at a weird science fiction. Weird science fantasy. The number 23, the one with the like climbing up a side of a mountain. Let me show you here. I don't want to do a software update. I think you'll recognize it. Weird. It's Weird Science. I think it's fantasy, right? Isn't that the one? The EC?
Weird Fantasy is an EC book.
Yeah, Weird Fantasy.
Weird Science Fantasy 29.
Right, that one. I saw that this weekend, and I caught it from a glance, and I couldn't see the label. Didn't have the glasses on, but it looked colorful, so I grabbed it. And I looked at the label, it was purple, and it was a 2.5, and I'm like, I can do better than that. It's an EC. But
Yeah,
that's a better piece I like.
I had that book before. I had a 4.0, which I sold. It's EC, so it's one of the more common Frazetta books.
Right.
But it's a black cover. That was originally supposed to be a Buck Rogers cover for Famous Funnies. But after the comic code was coming, that was right before the comic code. That was a 55 book.
Yep.
Famous Funnies decided they didn't want to use it for that. So he repurposed it for that EC book as it's sort of a caveman, but it was supposed to be a Buck Rogers Famous Funnies cover, and he redrew the guy on it and put him on Earth.
That's the one right there. That's what I was. Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait, do you have the Buck Rogers version of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. Nice.
I'm not sure if he fixed that himself, which he's known to do with a lot of things.
The funny thing about that title, while Wally Wood did a lot of the stuff as well, and there are some that there's two of them are on it. It's rare, but there's a few times that they're both doing the same panels. Let's bring that back up so Knights can show. We're going to show off some.
God, the book is heavy. Jeez.
Yeah, that thing's huge.
They might EWs are no joke.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that
that was originally supposed to be on a Famous Funnies book, and they didn't want to do it because for some reason they felt like this was too lewd with the Comics Code Authority looming in a few months. So,
and they didn't want to mess with Buck Rogers. I get it.
yeah, and I don't know if Frazetta changed it or if the editors or some other publishers, artists, or whatever. I don't know how it changed form, but it changed over to the Caveman and became an EC book. It's a very classic cover. It's just, I bought it, I owned it, and then I sold it. It wasn't rare enough for me.
Right.
I like to have a rarity to my comics, and EC doesn't make that cut. But it's a wonderful piece of art, and it's a cool book.
Right.
It would suck to have to mail this thing.
Speaking of rare, some book that doesn't come up, my friend got and let me show it to everybody here. DS knows this book pretty well.
That's my book.
That's his book. This is it.
Yeah.
This is Super Mystery Comics. The volume 6. I was gonna say volume 6, number 3, but this is the Reed Crandall, known as the Paper Cutter. Just a really ridiculous book from 1950.
That is awesome.
40s.
You got that at the show?
No, he got it at an online auction.
Oh, it's not yours?
No, it's Lewis's. He wanted me to show it off.
I bet on that, though, but I didn't go as high as him.
Yeah, and another book I brought up, this is one we're going to debate here. I'm going to ask you guys, this is an uncredited cover of Weird Adventures. There are 3 in the series. The first issue has a signed cover. I forget who did that one. It's what was his name? Robert Sale. It's always signed. So that's not it. But Matt Baker did the first issue, most of the pencils and the inks. And then this is number 2. Now, I'm not saying Baker did the cover, but I'm saying something's very Baker-ish about this cover. And if I could show you the woman, I'm going to flip it. And very 7 Seas-ish, if you ask me.
If you want to do a split screen with me, I'll show the 7 Seas.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's bring him in. Hang on.
Got a lot of glare going.
Yeah, I got glare.
Got like 5 Mylars there.
All right, hang on one second. Here we go. All right, this is where we're going. I mean, the hair there, and there's a few other ones with Baker where the woman's got her teeth grinding like that. And it's just the cheekbones, the eyebrows are very similar. The hands are very similar, the way how thin they're drawn. Both have nice headlights and accented both ways. I mean, this to me could be a Baker. I mean, I have to flip it upside down, but What do you think? I mean, are we barking up the right tree or what?
It's possible. I mean, he's got that distinctive black.
I mean, he's
hair.
on the title. Yep, he's on the title. It's uncredited. I mean, it's a non-credited title as far as the cover. He's worked on the title on the previous issue. This was issue number 2. I'm saying it's not attributed to him anywhere. We're Golden Guys, and I think we might have found a Baker cover here. Weird Adventures number 2. This is about good plus maybe. Staples, you know, that's one of the issues here on this book. There's
maybe
no
the
notation on
girl.
this book. Yeah, like he could have just done the girl or something, right? Which does happen a lot in Golden Age, especially with Baker.
I mean,
a lot of times he was doing the girl, and Kamen was doing like the outlines and the backgrounds and stuff. There's a lot of that. Joe Doolin often used to only do the girl on the cover and the characters, and somebody else would do the fill in the backgrounds for him.
I mean, if they worked in the same place.
Oh yeah, I mean he absolutely worked on the title. There's only 3.
Yeah, then why would they not give him the hey? At least do the head and the hair.
And it's in his peak year, 1951, where he's in everything. Journey into Fears, and he's in all the other stuff, the 7 Seas, which we just talked about there.
Yeah, he was doing a lot of St. John publications at the time.
Yeah.
A lot of St. John's work. He was doing war books. He was doing westerns. He was doing
romance.
Horror, romance. He was doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing that says he did do it, but I'm just saying there's something very Baker-ish about the lady. The hair, the teeth, the eyes, the eyebrows, the hands. For something that's absolutely attributed to him. And to do a comparison, we can do that. Now we started in the chat.
I got a related book to show.
Go ahead, please.
It's a rarity. I haven't bought Golden Age in a while, but this I got two books.
Show us.
If you want to,
yeah,
large. Here we go.
Voodoo! I have that one. I've been looking for that one.
Since we're talking about Baker,
yeah, I've been looking for that one. That's the code. That's with the code. That's the woman in the dress. See, you missed. See, that's attributed to him as well. Yeah, I tried. I lost out on that one, and Rick beat me out on that one.
Yeah, that's a good copy too, man.
Yeah,
it's got internal problems. I think the cover's like
most
ripped
women
up.
do. Most women do.
But I like books like this, and the next one are kind of like books I just like to look at the cover and maybe put on my wall or something, or just bring them out here and there. So I'm not real worried about.
I think it's number 14, right?
This is. I don't see it on.
Yeah, I don't think it's numbered on the book. I think it's number 14. Yeah.
But
yeah.
It actually pairs well with the other book I got. And I think DS knows about this one. But I've been looking for this one forever. And this has internal issues again. But the cover, it looked so nice, because usually they're kind of creases or chunks out or whatever, that I was like, I'll just, if I could get it cheap, I'll do it. So I'll go this way.
Foxhole. Nice.
There we go.
Well done.
They look nice together.
Yeah. Well done.
And usually I stick to the beginning of the Golden Age, but
you hit the 50s,
54 and 55.
55, yeah.
But yeah, this is a great cover.
That's a great one. That's a great time.
Jack Kirby cover for anybody who doesn't know.
Really cool colors.
I was gonna say that's Kirby, right? That's a Kirby Simon. Yep. Yeah. Nice.
Right before the code, and the other one was.
That is a really nice one.
That was a good one. I'm going to shout out the chat before we go any further. I apologize. It's 20 minutes in. We didn't start out that way. But Ricky, how we doing? Great having you here, Mr. Barrett. Great having you back. Welcome here. Stream Malice, good to have you. K Titus, Emperor's Collections. Good to have you here. Hey guys. Good having everybody here. Let's see what we got here. Who's the publisher on the Beware? Chris Barrett would like to know. TJ Slapdragon Rock can talk about Frazetta. Absolutely fantastic. Great discussion on Frazetta. Great book right there. Trojan, very good. Thank you very much. Get that. Oh, nice.
Did you get another one, JD?
No, those are the two.
Okay.
Right there. Oh, I did get some artwork, but I'll show it to you if you're a Mandalorian.
Oh yeah,
I got
That's
some
great.
storyboards from the guy, and it's kind of cool that numbered. And this was like 8 from whatever day it was. But I got this one, which I thought was cool, and this one. I got a thing with the bounty hunters, and they kind of had at the con. There was some Mandalorian stuff going on there, which I knew was going to be there. A couple of the actors that were in costumes, like Zero and one of this other one, they're from here, and they brought him in. But these are cool little things right there. Back to the chat. Mr. Gretzky, great having you here. Comic Amusing. Hello, gang. Good having you here. What else we got? Hey, JD. Thank you for having you here. It's Tuesday. Comic Man Andy's here. Great having you here. Thank you very much for being here. G-Man Collectibles. Great having you here as well. If I missed anybody, I apologize. I kind of usually don't like wearing my glasses.
You get one more book, actually.
Oh, are you winning a book?
I bought a book. I'll show it. I like to do previews on this show for those who show up to watch and for you guys. I just bought this today, so I don't have it yet.
Nice. We'll show that in a second here. And see, just want to get through this right here. And people say that could be Baker in there. And Vuda. What year is the Vuda? 1955. Correct, Chris Barrett. Okay, DS. Here we go. Oh, sorry.
Right, another Frazetta.
Here we go.
The one that pairs with this, he did 2 covers in this title only, and this is the other one. I have both now. Not a hard book to find, but a hard book to find in good shape. And this one is, it's decent. It's decent. I'm happy to get it. It's a good looking copy. And it's Straight Arrow 22.
Ah, very good book. Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, we would talk about that book. I don't know, when we talk about Westerns, we brought up that book a lot as one of the must-haves in the Western genre. Is that Frazetta gem right there.
And I think it's a pretty brutal cover. I mean, he's about to scalp that little kid.
Yeah.
It's pretty brutal. It's Frazetta cover. The other one he did was Straight Arrow number 3, and this is number 22.
Yep. Straight Arrow 3 is the bear.
Yeah, 3 is the bear white cover where the Straight Arrow is fighting the bear.
I like that one. Yep.
Straight Arrow is coming in to save the woman and the child. So what sold me on this one? It's only 4 or 5. All right, so it's not great, but
colors look great.
Look great on it.
And the colors look great.
Yeah, so it's great colors. It's a good presenting copy, and it was very affordable. It didn't cost much at all. So I'm figuring why not.
What I was saying about this is it has some issues, but the colors on this book, this book never comes up. I will say that I haven't seen it come up in a couple of years, and I was on the lookout for him, and he was on the lookout as well. And I guess DS and a bunch of other pre-code horror people there because he paid up for this. But classic.
Yeah, I've been on the lookout for it too, and I bid on that, and I stopped, and then he went a little further than me. That's a tough book. All those super mysteries, they're rare. They're awesome. They're so zany. There's such insane stuff on all the super mysteries. All 40 volumes or whatever they have. But it's really, really cool stuff.
I mean, you've got everything from aliens to like stabbings to skeletons to a paper cutter to Halloween theme. I mean, perfect way to start off the fall season here on Pre-Code Horror Month coming up on Golden Guys.
I could show one more thing real quick.
Yeah, please show something else. And do we have a spinner rack?
Yeah, we do.
Good.
So this is not Golden Age, but it's similar to Golden Age in the sense that these things are about as the hunt is about as hard because these. It's my the international, and you've probably seen on Instagram if you follow me there. But I was showing this off. That says Akira. this is 1982, and these books came out like magazines, so they threw them out. Everyone throws them out. They still come out like this there in Japan now, and they throw them out. 82. It's got a funny little ET insert here. But I've been looking for this for a long time, and it's just really hard to come by. It's got the first Akira. You've probably at least heard of that movie, I hope. But.
I sent Knights a picture from the con this weekend of some manga from the 70s. It was including a Thor. I thought it was cool, and I should have bought it. It was $15. I didn't buy it.
Oh man, yeah, you would have made money.
I called her up. I'm like, I need that. Yeah, they had some 70s manga, Godzillas and stuff. That's the same character. Yeah,
great artwork in this.
But I asked about it, and she said there's a collector of manga there, and those are his other copies. He says it's as bad as collecting comics, if not worse.
Well,
because he used to travel to Japan to go to those anime cons, and he actually hosts the Nebraska con, the anime con for the Midwest is here, and he's the host of it. Big into the stuff from the 70s. Yeah, he's an older guy, big into this weird shit. I mean, no offense, but ain't my cup of tea.
But it's very part of why I kind of got into it. It just reminded me. I was reading about this stuff. I always kind of liked the culture and the characters since I was a kid. But
the
more I read about kind of the first appearances and whatnot, I started reading about how they would come up in these, big magazine formats that everyone threw away. And I started talking to a lot of people over there. I have a couple friends there, and they're like, yeah, only the real crazy people keep those big ones. There's a lot of people in Japan, so space is kind of an issue. And then they have just a different kind of, I think they have a different appreciation of things that are kind of, their collectible sensibilities are a little different. But then I was like, wow, this sounds exactly like old comics, before people collected comics, they would just throw them out or recycle them. I mean, it's just, no one thought of it as a collectible. So I was like, hey, I'll try to find these things. And it's been pretty fun. And, thankfully it's usually it's not even near the price of, the Tech 27 or something, so.
What first got me into that, and I don't know, it was not the Voltron with the lions, but before that, there was a Voltron with cars.
Oh, yeah.
That was based in Japan. It was Japanese, and it was very manga, and that got me into it. Was somebody else gave me, like, there was one of the guys in the neighborhood was like one of the Elf Quest guys, and then you had the guy into the manga. So the guy in the manga was like, that Voltron's based on this. And I started getting those robots. Remember the robots in the 80-81 that were popular in the US were those manga robots. Yeah, which you have those. Yeah. Those. Yeah. Yep.
Now those are much
that's what that's what I was first introduced to, I guess, the manga culture, so to speak. But yeah. Very cool. We like talking about manga on this one. We don't get that much. But topic, since we're coming into pre-code horror month and everything else like this, one of the things I wanted to ask DS was, I was having a discussion about Super Mystery Comics and everything else of horror artists only. A horror artist on a cover, which is and I guess I don't want to say Frazetta on there, but who's the artist that makes the book based on who did it? I have my own opinion on who did it that makes it more valuable based on, and they all probably do, but in a certain way, which one do you think pops it more than anyone else?
There's one artist that the book is the artist. It's one and the same. People don't even say, I bought such and such issue, such and such. They say, I bought a blank, and it's LD Cole. People are like, look at this Cole I bought. They don't even say, look at this, whatever. It's just Cole. And
same, Cole, like similar to Frazetta, I'd say.
Yeah, Frazetta like that, but he did a lot more other stuff. LB Cole is predominantly horror. Some of his earlier stuff in the 40s is not. It's got a horror vibe to it, but he did a ton of PCH. Other one I would think is Bernard Bailey. He did Weird Mystery.
Bernard Bailey was one of the ones. Yep.
And Bernard Bailey, among pre-code horror fans, is very well known, and everybody would be like, "Oh, look at this Bailey cover I picked up," or you pick one up and you're like, "Oh, that's a great Bailey." Like Bernard Bailey stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Those are probably the top two. The other ones, they're hit and miss depending on the artist. Now, among EC fans, they have like the Cadillac of PCH books. Now they're
right. I was gonna say they're like the Jack Davis, Graham Ingalls. Who's
Jack Davis,
Graham,
Wally Wood.
Well, I was gonna say, Wally Wood is my choice. Wally Wood is my choice.
Okay,
it'll be called. My choice is Wally Wood, and it's because Wally Wood is my favorite horror, pre-code horror artist. And somebody brought up Feldstein, and I'm gonna get into him in a minute. But one of the things I always like to bring up about Wally Wood, what he did when it comes down to like he's on the Eerie books, he's on quite a few science fiction as well, but he did a lot of pre-code horror, and I think his horror stuff, when I see that title, it always says LB Cole, but there are so many LB Coles. There are probably more LB Coles than, and maybe not just because of there, but have horror-esque atmospheres. While Wally Woods, there are a lot, but I think some of those are appreciated more. With exception of obviously, LB Cole's Spider covers and stuff like that. The Suspense 8, right? Suspense 8.
Suspense Comics 8 is LB Cole. It's not. I wouldn't consider that a horror cover per se, but it's definitely.
Is that the most valuable of his?
No, I mean Mask 1 would be the most valuable.
Mask 1, yeah. Forget about that.
Which I have actually right here.
I used to think Suspense 8 was worth more than Mask.
Well, this is the top of the line for LB Cole right here, Mask 1. And then I would say Mask 2. Mask 1 and 2 are the two most valuable, and after that, Suspense 8's up there.
Yeah.
Probably Suspense 8 and maybe Blue Bolt 105. That sci-fi.
Blue Bolt 105. The black cover is the
Catman 28. That's up there. Those are all like second tier, sort of like the Blue Bolt, the 105, the Catman 28, Suspense 8. Those are all sort of similarly priced, and that's like second tier. Probably Blue Bolt 115 is just under that. A lot of the Blue Bolts are cool. He's got like that Power Comics 3. That is a big book these days. That's the black cover with the
That's a good point. Yeah.
All the faces around it. That book is one I've been looking for. It's really hard to find. And the last two copies, 7.5 CGC sold for over $4,000. And then a raw 7.0 range sold for the same price. So that book is really becoming a coveted LB Cole book. He did a Suspense 11, which is like, I would call it the poor man's Mask 2. But that book, I think, what was the recent grade? 8.0, I think, or something, sold for like $12,000 or something. So that book, 8.0 or 8.5, sold for $12,000. Way higher.
That's a high grade. Let's look at that from a high grade, but that's still $12,000. That's a lot.
I was thinking $5,000 on it, maybe, or $6,000. It went for double what I thought easily. Wow. So, so there's a lot of this stuff is very expensive still now. A lot of it back down and affordable, like the jungle category stuff.
Yeah.
That stuff's still relatively affordable, but other stuff just continues to skyrocket, especially this book. I think another 2.5 just sold privately for, I don't know, $8,000.
No,
insane, dude.
I think that's interesting though. When you said people don't even call it the book, there's not that many artists. I feel like there's Cole, Frazetta, Schomburg,
Wrightson.
But Golden Age in the Golden Age, like,
Baker.
Baker,
Yeah, Baker.
maybe Wood.
Yeah,
but
Wally Wood, because everybody knows. I mean, I'm not, if I say Strange Worlds 4, you're gonna be like, which one's that? But look it up.
but that might be it for Golden Age.
Lou Fine. No, Lou Fine.
Lou
say-
Fine.
I'll tell you. Here's how I know because
I
I'm
mean,
very
it's kind of hard because I think we appreciate being Golden Age fans, people like Lou Fine, but outside of Golden Age, I mean, even your Silver Age and your Bronze Age collectors are going to know who Rosetta is, who Baker is. I mean, they're probably going to know who Baker is. You think that they may or may not. Wally Wood, they're definitely going to know Wally Wood. I mean,
when I'm
they
looking
better.
at the title, I know if it's like a quality publication or something, I know, or a Fox Features or something, or a Fiction House. I know Lou Fine did some. So if I'm looking in that range, I specifically look for the ones that are Lou Fine. Like, he transcends the title to me. So there's a lot of cool ones. And if I'm going to put money out for one of those cool ones in that issue range, I'm going to specifically go for the Lou Fine one. So he transcends the title and the book for. And so I will opt for him over the other issues in that range.
Yeah,
I mean,
I still kick
only
myself
one-
for losing out on my Will Eisner.
Wood's the only one of them who really people care about the interiors. I mean, Frazetta,
Baker.
I never hear people talk about the Baker interiors though.
I hear people talk about him from the Golden Age collectors. The hardest, the Golden Age art dealers. Some of the other, his stuff you can't even touch. It's just so expensive.
You know, the interiors on like the novelty books, like Target Comics, or like the Ace books, like Super Mystery. The interiors on those have insane splash pages. Now, most people don't ever look at them. A lot of them are slab, and it's the covers that sell. But there is some insane interior splash pages on those books that, if they were covers, would be some of the absolute most coveted Golden Age covers, especially just in like some random Target comics or those Ace books.
Ace books, I have opened up.
Interiors are legit, man. Like Science Comics and stuff. Man, they have some legit interior art.
They're not tied into a character, because like you don't go like, this Kirby, look at this Kirby, like I don't know, like who's Wally Wood's character, famous for what character?
That damsel in distress getting eventually murdered. I mean, he's a big fan of, but it's always damsel. I mean, his best stuff is like the science fiction and
it's just interesting
comics and stuff like that. He's
definitely who've done so many different books that no one's going to keep track of all that, I guess. So
Space Detective. There's a lot.
I'd say Heath too. Like someone like me, I can't keep track of all the war comic titles because there's either a million of them or there's a few, but they all kind of blur together. But if you're like, yeah, Heath, check out this Heath.
Lee Elias. People
the Atlas artists, they're well known and they're excellent, but I don't think they transcend those titles the way some of these other guys do. Like, especially on the Atlas PCH. Sometimes the three of us will look at a book and be like, "Oh, is that an Everett, or is that a Virgo? Is that a Harry Anderson, or is that a Russ Heath, or is that a Manili?" Like, they don't transcend those. We know the cover, but sometimes it's not who the artist is; it's the cover. Like, there's a certain Atlas book that's big, and it's the book. So those artists, even as good as they are, don't transcend those books like L.D. Cole does or a Lou Fine.
And a good example is Captain America, Schoenberg versus not Schoenberg. The Schoenberg cap will always garner a premium than a non-Schoenberg cap, regardless if it's a key issue or not.
And there's a couple cool Avison and Shure cap covers, and they're badass. And I look at them and I'm like, man, if only that were a Schoenberg, that would sell for double.
Yep.
And it's big books. Like some of the early caps, there's like an Avison one that's pretty badass.
Yeah. Good stuff.
And yeah, if it was a Schomburg, I feel like the prices would be through the roof on it, where it's held back a little because it's non-Schomburg. Even though it's an early cap and it could be a 6.0 white pages, it's like I feel like there's some price value lacking for what it is.
So who's the pre-code artist that would make a book become a Lou Fine for you or a Schomburg cap? Who is that artist? Is it a Frazetta? I'm like, see, how many pre-code horror did Frazetta do? One, two?
He did a few, but he didn't do that many.
Dark GA, if we include that, that's where I put Wally Wood in there, because the title Strange Worlds really wasn't good unless it was a Wally Wood cover. And if you look up the Strange Worlds covers, you'll be like, oh, that's iconic. It is. It's what it is.
Well, I mean, for Frazetta, I can count on one hand how many Frazetta PCH books I want that are even on my list. And I just picked up one. The Famous Funnies, I really like 213 and 212, 213, and 214. Those three. And then Beware 10 and probably Buster Crabs 6 or 5. I can't remember which one it is. And that's it. So there's like 5 PCH Frazettas that I like. Now he did one. He did a Weird Fantasy, which is credited to him and it might be Joe Orlando, I think. Him and Orlando. And it says Frank Frazetta and Joe Orlando cover. But if you look at the cover, it's definitely Frazetta pencils. But the fact that he's not singled out as the artist on it holds that value down a little bit because it has both their names on it. But it's clearly Frazetta pencils. And then that Weird Science Fantasy 29. So, you know, that's what, 6 or 7 books of his in PCH. Not a ton, you know.
Maybe a dozen or 15, maybe, Wally Woods.
I'm glad I got this.
Oh, there it is.
There's a Buster Crab. There it is.
That's what I'm talking about.
Frazetta's gone up the roof. It would have cost me, I think.
Yeah, 5. Yeah, I love that. Really, really cool book. That's a Famous Funnies publication.
It's so much about of the Famous Funnies run and everything else, but it's the depth character ones. And of course, you got the OG right there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and somebody's mentioning Emperor's Collectible said Lee Elias has nice art. Lee Elias is phenomenal, and in PCH, he did some of the biggest books out there. Chamber of Chills 19, Tomb of Terror 15. He has legit huge books. I think he did Black Cat 50. There's some debate about that.
I often think he has to have done it, but
he did he did a ton of stuff for the Harvey books and the PCH, but I feel like those books are bigger than him. Although he did so many of those, like people who are just getting to PCH, when they see these top books, they all say Lee Elias with a little circle on them.
Yeah.
But
Are you saying, JD, are you saying like what name makes
PCH
worth money or whatever? Is that...
Well, which PCH, because it's October, so I was going to focus on PCH. Which artist is the title is what it is, but because Schomburg did that cap, it's worth more. Who is that in the PCH world? And my thing is, the example I give is Space Detectives are cheaper with Kinsler than they are with Wally Wood, and all that sci-fi. So my thing was Wally Wood because he did more horror than Frazetta, but Frazetta is a great example because we would talk with him. I was thinking if there's anybody I'm missing, because titles that I see Cole, most of the titles Cole worked on were his titles as well. You know,
it holds true for Frazetta. He just didn't do a lot, and it holds true for Matt Baker, who only did like 3.
Right,
he did like 3 PCH covers, but those sell really well because they're Bakers. Nightmare 13 is that underwater green sort of mermaid one. He did that one with the monsters coming out of the water attacking the man and woman on the rowboat, and I can't remember off the top of my head which one that is. But that's Matt Baker.
What's the biggest like horror EC title?
What do you mean biggest?
Tales from the Crypt.
Tales from the Crypt has the most, probably.
I just want to see if in here maybe some stuck out because of different artists. I was just curious.
Yeah, I think probably Tales from the Crypt. There's also Haunt of Fear and Vault of Horror. Those are the 3.
Yeah, I mean, Tales from the Crypt, Vault of Horror, yeah.
I think Tales from the Crypt, the EC would probably tell you that's the bigger of the 3.
It probably sold the best.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not an EC collector, and it's everybody always, I tell them I'm into PCH, and I don't collect EC, and they make this look like what? That doesn't make sense. It's just I really like rarity with my books, and it doesn't have to be super rare, but I don't want it to be common. And I have owned Shop Suspense Stories 6, that classic Wally Wood cover. I've owned a Weird Science Fantasy. I've owned a couple Haunt of Fears, and I don't keep them because they're just too easy to get again, that I don't feel the need to hold on to them tightly. So I part with them pretty easily for even a small-ish profit. Whereas other stuff like this, I will hold on to, with more of an iron grip because it's tougher to replace.
What about what is it called? Elias?
The Elias.
Elias. So what if he did some other book like I don't know, like a superhero book or something? Would people even care?
Yeah, he did do other books, and nobody does care. He did some issues of Wings comics.
Yeah.
He did a lot of Harvey War titles. And it's good. It's quality art if you're like deep diving and you're really into PCH and you're really like Lee Elias. But nobody will advertise it as a Lee Elias.
Gotta be someone that people follow through all the different genres that the guy does.
Well, that's my thing about Wally Wood. I mean, everybody knows that Daredevil was best drawn by Wally Wood. I mean, I think he was the best of the Daredevil. I mean, if you look at some of the Daredevil covers he did, some of the work he did on Marvel Daredevil, not the Gleason stuff.
I think that's got it though. I think that's a good way to put it. If people follow that artist across,
I'll give you Frank Miller. For every Frank Miller I'll give you. Look at Daredevil. Who invented the character? I mean, who really drew him badass?
Bill Everett
first. He was not badass by Bill Everett first.
I mean, Frank Miller is my favorite Daredevil artist. If we're going to go there, I used to have.
Right, who put him in a red costume?
I had the entire run, not all at the same time.
Wood is responsible for the red costume. Remember that.
Well, that's Wally Wood.
I mean, Wally Wood.
Remember when this book was so much money? This was like the wall book of the comic shop, and you're like, oh, someday.
The first one, the first Frank Miller. I'll
tell you that.
I like the storyline. Man Without Fear is just the great book of Daredevil. I mean, it is the best storyline, and I love Daredevil. But I will say that I love the Frank Miller stuff. I think it's great. But I'm going to always go back to the original time when he put on the red costume, and the Wally Wood stuff is my favorite.
Links, that book is in higher grades, sells. It's pretty pricey. That's not a cheap book. I had a copy of that before, and when I was collecting, prior to getting to Golden Age, I was trying to get a higher grade copy for my PC, and the prices for where I was at the time in collecting were expensive, and they have still gone up a little since then, but it's not a cheap book when you get into the nines on that. Because that's
I kicked myself I had 9.6 in that. I had 9.8 in 168. My Daredevils were awesome. I had a good Daredevil collection for a while, but it just got it was one of those that I says, I need to part with something. I got to start with someone, and it wasn't going to be Doctor Strange, Thor, or Silver Surfer. It was Daredevil and Venom were my two that I said, okay, I'm kind of done with you guys, and I can always get these books again. I can always get them again. I mean, it's Venom and it's Daredevil. I mean, not Daredevil. And my DD1 is the only thing I kept because it's the first one, and some of the early issues, like the first the Wally Wood run, but all the Frank Miller run, I got rid of all that. I kept the old stuff. I kept all the
best cover of the run.
I actually gave the Western pen of that copy to John's Comics with Kids. He has the Western pen copy of that, and I think it's a 9.2 or 9.4. Western
that original art for a lot of money.
Klaus Johnson talked about that cover, about inking that, and how Frank literally hashed it so much. So he says, I want this inked. He was like, geez, I don't really have to do much. I could just just go over his stuff. He was that insistent on making it the depth of it, and that's one of the things. And I like Frank Miller. I think he's The Dark Knight and everything else. I'm not knocking Frank Miller. I'm just saying, in my own opinion, I like Wally Wood. Daredevil kind of was my more than Frank Miller. So
Yeah, my favorite Daredevil cover is actually a Klaus cover. It's 196. It's really a Wolverine cover. It's yellow Wolverine up front with the old brown and yellow uniform, and it's got
he's holding him up.
Yeah.
I had that one too. Yep, I had that one in a high 996. Yeah, I mean, I kept those books pristine. I mean, that's why even my Thors. So
I like that book so much. At one point, I had 3 9/8s and 2 raw 9/8 candidates. I had 5 copies of that years ago, and I had 3 slab 9/8 copies of that. I loved it so much.
I will say this, that Frank Miller made Daredevil cool again, because the middle run of Daredevils from like the 70s to like the 150, that was a rough time.
Yeah.
I mean, if you tried to read them now, you'd be like, this is so bad. It's mostly court cases too. It's like you're reading LA Law. It's totally.
There's a couple cool undervalued keys in there though. There's the first Paladin is in there.
Yeah.
There's the first Silver Samurai is like 111 or something. I think first Paladin is like 115 or 105.
Yeah,
there's one with the skeleton cover, a black cover with a skeleton on it. That's in that range. There's some cool cover art in that range.
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to show you this. Did you get all 3 of these, the Kirby variants? I got all 3 now. Do you know of any other ones?
I don't have them.
Oh, I'm trying to find all the Thor Kirby variants because I have all the Buscema's.
Cool.
Yeah, these are cool. This is known as the T-shirt one. You read this one when it came out. I didn't think it was. I was like, oh, look at it. And whatever. I put my.
That looks like a cover from like 1983 or something.
Yeah, it's number 7. These were all the same. This is Thor 1. This is not the Cates, one of the Aaron runs, not God of Thunder. This is the Cates run. And then this is another Aaron run.
Are those new comics?
No, yeah, the newer. I was just showing it because I just thought the Kirby stuff. I was trying to think who else would know if there's any other Thors. I think I got them all now. But that's that. Anyway, the first Frank Miller comic drew in the comic strip Barney Baxter in the 1940s. Anthony Perdue rocking it tonight. Look at that. All right, so let's
wait, he's saying the first Frank Miller in comics was
drew the comic strip Barney Baxter.
I don't. Oh, there was a Frank Miller before the Frank Miller, and it was that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the first Frank Miller in comics was the one that we're talking about. Was probably in an issue of Twilight Zone. I think is the first.
I think it is. I think it is Twilight Zone.
Yeah, I think he did his first published art. I think was in an issue of Twilight Zone in like '69.
Right, and he did something in 71 that was pretty well known.
I only got 3 Thors, Kirby Thors.
Well, the first ones they're all great. Yeah, I got
that story is so good. I can't get rid of it.
Yeah, that's my favorite issue from like not aside from '83. I like that and
112. 112, yeah. I like 112 so much. I had that Thanos Vader behind me over here. That's a great one. I'll one day I break out all my Thors.
I don't want my old. I used to have the Magneto one where he fought Magneto. That was
109. I have I'm only missing. I mean, I've had every one. I sold my first appearance of Jane, number 84, the second Thor. I sold it because it was peaking when she became the new Thor, never thinking they'd ever make a movie out of it. I mean, this is before that shit was even anybody's mind. It's a great book, though. I mean, I love the Jane Thor, but it was not an idea that it was going to be a movie, and I sold it. I was like, oh, I'll buy it back when it's there.
Yeah,
because the guy wanted it really wasn't a great copy, and I said I want to get at least a 5 on it, and it was raw. It was a 3. Now I'm like kicking myself because that's like one of the ones I need to complete. That's, I mean, of all the early ones, that's that and like one in the 90s, and then my next one is in the 150s. I don't have, and it's only because I had it and I either gave it away or something.
I think the first like 10 are really cool.
Look
Just
at
like
my favorite.
fighting.
My favorite one is number 95. Keep going down. It's Thor versus Thor. That one right there, the green one. See the green? That's my favorite one. Three Mjolnirs on the cover. It's badass. Not 1, 2, but 89 is a great one too. Check out that one.
Yeah, so I was saying the one you showed.
Yeah.
Each of these are like from a different point of view of another Thor book. Well, this one's directly from the T-shirt, and I have the T-shirt. So,
well, I've been trying to buy a Jim 83 for a minute, and I think I picked the wrong time to start looking for one because the prices on that have just gone way up. Now 4 O's are going for like $7,000, and I'm not.
I mean, mine is.
I don't know what happened.
Mine was so abused by me and an ex-girlfriend that it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to get like a 4 to 5.0, and I had a nice budget. I still want one, but the 4 O's are going for like $7,000. I saw a 5.5 go for like almost 10. So it's that book has moved beyond, not beyond my ability to get one, but beyond what I am willing to pay for that book. It's
I remember it was
maybe I'll get one, but I'm not. I don't want to pay that.
Yeah, you know what's aggravating to me is some of the books that are skyrocketing in value right now in the golden age, back to the golden age, that are pricing things out are the Frazettas and the Wally Woods. That's we're seeing that more and more now than ever. Yeah, I'm getting out of artists. So it's good that we got in early on our
best Thor covers though recently.
I do have that. Well, I'll tell you, when I was seeing the prices Jim 83 move so much, I was like, man. And then that came up on Shortbox app, and I was like, you know what? Let me just get this. This is an excellent copy. It's a white pager. It's a 9.2, which is a tough grade for that book. So I went and got that for a fraction of a Jim 83 price. Now it's a much smaller book, but it's actually a much better cover. And I love it.
My biggest piece of art I ever had done, if you can see, is that copy of that's an actual 20 by 30 painting of the Silver Surfer 4. Nice. I've got the statue for it, and next to that is if you see the signed poster. And
here's
my copies right over there.
Collection from the Hobby Lobby. There you go.
Nice.
This was a present from the wife. She just gave me something cool, and it's just a cool thing for the wall. And there's my Thor collection. This is holding the spot. This is my Jim 83 placeholder. So
nice. Yeah.
So it's cool. I like this a lot. It's actually a cool piece of art. It's very simple and minimal, and it's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I like.
Yeah, I got a question for you about Thor, and we're way off the Golden Age topic. But,
I know that happens.
I was reading Secret Wars to my daughter.
84 Secret Wars. 84 Secret Wars.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
all right.
I feel like, is that the real guy?
It's Eric Masterson. Is your question?
I felt like someone said something in the book as if like, I know who you really are, and you're not really him, and I don't know. It was
Eric Masterson in Secret Wars 1. That's Odinson.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know.
That's Walt Simonson. That's Walt Simonson's Thor era now.
But was there a time during the 80s or 70s or where he was not the real like Blake, whatever? It was a different
Donald Blake. Yeah, he was he redoes his origin in 158. They retcon it. He's no longer needs the hammer to be Thor. It's not like he drops the hammer and he's Don Blake anymore. That happens in 158, and then it's a whole backstory. But then Eric Masterson takes over because Thor's not worthy anymore. Beta Ray Bill, 84 4 was only a year after Beta Ray Bill showed up. So you're still on Thor Odinson till you get to like the next couple of years, and then you get Eric Masterson, who takes you all.
You know what? I'm mistaken. I think it was from Infinity Gauntlet.
Infinity Gauntlet is Eric Masterson,
where Thanos or someone's like, "You're not even the real guy."
right? You're not even Odinson, who beat his ass already once before. Who comes back? Yeah. That's Eric Masterson.
All right. Yeah, I was confused because I didn't follow Thor too well, but okay, thanks.
Yeah, it's Odinson is the one that we all know and love. Donald Blake is is Journey 83 all the way to Thor 158, and then it still is, but you don't have to worry about Donald Blake ever again. And then it's that's Odinson, and then Eric Masterson's after that. So, and
I
then,
think Donald Blake was like, wasn't he a doctor that was imbued with
the whole story, if you don't know, if you never read Journey 83, is he finds his walking stick. He's hurt, and it's in a cave, and becomes Mjolnir, and he goes from being the Clark Kent to the Superman. I mean, it's no other way around. It's the Shazam, it's the Samson with the hair, it's Thor with the hammer. He slams it down, and like you see all the time with lightning, and lightning shows up, and he bulks up, and he becomes Thor.
And is he still Donald Blake when he's Thor?
No, he looks completely different.
Well, right, but I mean, like in his mind, like is he like?
No. That's the thing. He knows he's Donald Blake, but all of a sudden his voice changes, and he starts speaking in Norse mythology. I mean, it worked because we love the character, and Donald Blake kind of fizzled out early.
So it's kind of like Bruce Banner in the Hulk, but just never really.
But imagine the Hulk never changed back. Oh,
right.
They just kind of like, it exists. That storyline, kind of like the Doctor Strange, the first Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange should have been Asian, according to the original storyline they were going to do. And then they made him white and made the Asian one Asian. But that was going to be something they were going to do. But Doctor Strange, they retcon his story, but it's always the same thing. Now, we talk about this, and this is something going to go right back to the Golden Age. The only character I've never seen their origin story change, ever, from the first time you find out what it is to the end, Batman. It's always the pearls, the gun, the alley, the movie theater, or the theater. It's always the theater. It's always the pearls. Always the gun.
A bit sometimes.
Yeah, but the concept. Superman changed twice. I mean, everybody knows the baby. They put the baby in the thing, and he shot him off. That wasn't until the 50s. That's
is it supposed to be the Joker that killed him, or like
somebody? Yeah. Tim Burton, I think, came up with that idea. That was only Tim Burton.
Hey, Cap's origin is pretty much the same still.
Well, yeah and no, because they redid it in the 60s. Where he's feeble and everything else, where you don't have that in the Golden Age. You don't have him. Well, it's not like, I guess the origin story, if you look the 60s one, I guess that's very similar. It never really changed. It's still super soldier serum. And the actors and the characters are the same, right?
Yeah.
The German guy's in the first, and it's not issue 1 though. When is Captain America's first origin story?
In 1.
In 1?
Yeah.
Really short. And then they Then they enhanced it, I guess, in the 60s. Yeah. Knights is right. Good. Yeah.
Should we look at the spinner?
Yeah, let's get the spinner going. Yeah. I thought, you're right. Caps, I guess they just went in really in depth with it with what's that, 109? Cap 109.
Well, what they messed around with a lot was how he died and how he was found. They kept changing that.
Yeah, they changed Cap rides again. Yeah, the Cap rides again storyline from Avengers. Find him in the ice,
Yeah.
as opposed to being the acrobat in like a month before. He though wasn't him. Remember the guy dressed up as Captain America and
Oh
Terry
yeah. Right.
and it turns out to be that's the Steranko, right? That's 109. Yeah, I think that's
This is
around.
111. This is 111. I was just showing
Yeah,
it. Just
That's the end of the origin storyline. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's cool. The death of Captain America.
yeah, I've been trying to get a high grade of this. The last one I had was a 9.0 white pages. I think this one's better.
Dr. Von Chilla was selling one.
Nice.
Do you follow his?
I mean, I check in with him occasionally, but not enough that I know that he was selling that. But I think I can get a 9.2, 9.4 on this. It's pretty sharp copy.
Nice. All right. Well, we go. Action Comics number 5. Superman story.
1938.
Superman story.
Sorry.
Is there a Superman story inside?
Oh, yeah. He's in all these.
Okay.
Every action, as far
Is
as
there
I know.
anything here he does first? Like, is this the first Kryptonite or?
Gosh, I don't know.
I think that one sells a lot because it's just such an early Action Comics. They're tough to find.
Yep.
They're expensive, these real early ones.
Definitely.
It's pretty cool.
Oh, yep.
20. So it's still a ways before Batman.
I think we did that on this one. That's a classic. 31.
Too.
It's 31. That's pretty
The
cool.
last time it's called New Adventure Comics. After
Mm.
that, it goes back to being Adventure Comics on the next issue.
So these are all September books. I threw
Yep.
them all together.
That's cool.
Oh, this should be later on. I don't
I
know
was
why.
gonna say, this is like 20 years, at least 10, 12 years.
That up.
Yeah.
But that's his first appearance. I think it's like, I'll have to check on that later, but you didn't see that.
We didn't
So
see
then here we go, 39, another action. Finally, they put his Superman up there in the title.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
it. That's
It's
what
a
we
weird plane. I don't know if any planes like that exist. Put the glass on there.
want. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, yeah. So I had to talk about this one. This, as far as I've ever heard, this is the first black superhero.
Yeah, it is.
And this thing is like, I could have had this once or twice. And it was just when I first started out in Golden Age. So I didn't, you don't know what's rare and what isn't rare and what people say are rare but isn't rare. And
Yeah.
I passed, and I don't think I've seen one. And I had real trouble even finding a CGC copy of this to show on this. I don't think I even could find one, which is kind of weird.
The only one I have seen is, I think, Stray Flexen has a copy.
Ooh.
That's the only one I've seen is Stray Flexen's copy of it. I've never seen one. I'm sure some have sold. I haven't seen any anywhere other than his copy.
Nope. I know there was somebody on the boards who.
Yeah, this one was on the boards.
That one. Yeah, that's about it, though.
And here we go in 39.
Yeah.
There is Batman. This is what, 32? So I love how they call it the Batman up in the top there.
Yeah, he's still got the big ears too. I love that.
When did they stop calling him the Batman?
I still think the Batman should be the proper nomenclature. It's my own opinion.
The Batman.
Oh,
Pretty cool. John Carter.
right.
Not sure who did the artwork on this one.
Right.
Those books are really cool. I read those.
John Carter from Mars the Pulps are really good. The little storylines. Yeah.
Actually, I've been watching the show Lovecraft County or Country.
Yeah.
Yeah, country.
And one of the characters talked about John Carter in there. It's pretty cool because you don't hear about him too much, especially after that movie, which I didn't see, but I heard it was bad.
But it wasn't going to be the way I wanted. More fun. Nice.
This is I'm not sure who did this.
It's 1940.
It's kind of weird the way his hand is there. It almost looks like he's. Well, I guess okay. At first, I thought it was maybe supposed to be a dinosaur or something, but it's one of them Komodo dragons. I guess.
Dragon. Yeah.
Oh
So-
yeah, here we go.
There we go. The good stuff.
This was an interesting. There's a story with this one because there's an ad for it in Marvel 2, or no, so sorry. In this one, there was an ad for Marvel 2 inside it, and then in Marvel 2, there was an ad for Silver Streak, and it was like the only time Martin Goodman, the publisher of Marvel, Timely at the time, did like promoted anything. With any other publisher. He was always very cutthroat with everyone else. And, it's, I guess, because it was so early on, he wasn't sure how it was going to be. So for whatever reason,
the ad
deal.
he probably needed to sell the ad space to make the first issue to get ready to do a second issue,
Well, yeah, but to put a competitor in there.
Yeah, and Silver Streak is, everybody collects these foil covers from the 90s. That was the thing in the 90s. These have foil covers. This logo is a foil logo.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
That's
if you ever
cool.
see one, it's got a foil logo, and this is from the 40s, way before in the 90s. Yeah, foil
Maybe
covers.
see a Turok one there.
I want to see a video of that, like where you could really see that. That would be cool.
And I wish I had one, and they were. I love that title, but they're so pricey, and not all of them have it. But the early ones have the foil logo, and then they got rid of it. But that one has a foil where it's silver on there. It's actual silver foil on it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we saw one of these go for sale recently. Pretty high price. I don't know the final hammer, but it was up there and it was incomplete.
Yeah, it was a 0.5 incomplete. This one's on my list, but this is Lufine, and this is probably the top Wonder World Lufine cover, and it's insanely expensive for what it is. But yeah, I really want this book. I like it.
I love the guy up in the right corner. He's kind of like, it looks like he's coming from the inside of the book or something.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Here's another find.
Yeah.
You still got
So got it. Right?
Yeah, I got a CBCS 4.5 off white to white. Took me years to track down a copy that I could get. That's not something I get very often.
One of my most hated Namor covers ever, where he looks like Fraser from
Yeah.
You always bring that up where he looks like Kelsey Grammer.
And Toro looks like a woman.
Yep. Toro's got cleavage.
Now we got 1940. This is pretty nice. I like the little panels on the left.
That's a nice copy too, a 6.0.
Yeah. And I think it has, it's the first appearance of the Vision, the Golden Age Vision. At least he's on the cover. That's pretty good. I always thought the pig-faced looking guy in the bottom was a little weird, but it's not one of my favorites because I like the ones where they're fighting the Nazis, but it's still pretty darn awesome. I always wonder, if the people who did, because it kind of looks like it, the people who did that, the art on the little panels were done by different artists. Because, I mean, that Vision definitely doesn't really look like Schomburg.
Right.
Yeah, Jambo's also mentioning some of the early Fawcett books had the silver ink.
That's cool.
So have like a foil logo to it too.
Here's another pretty cool find.
Yeah. I tried to
That one's fine.
The like tied up chick is pretty cool. I'm not sure that skull is supposed to be.
What copy is a 9.6? What is that?
Mile High copy.
Is the Mile High? Okay. Piece of
Yeah, recently I think it was either in Comic Link or Heritage or something. There was a 7.0 copy of this, and it was like a reasonable bid right to the end, and then it just went nuts at the end. So I thought I had a chance at it. I was like, man, I gotta steal this, and then shot. So, I mean, I knew it was a big book, but I was hoping maybe, you always hope, and sometimes rarely it happens and you can score a deal, but not on that one, man.
A few have. Yeah. I often lose those too. Pep, there we go. We were talking about another 9-8. What is this shit?
Jeez.
9-8.
That doesn't look like a 9-8 to me, to be honest with you.
That church fella can keep his books in nice condition.
White pages.
Not even that.
Well,
Not even.
What happens when you keep them in a place where there's not much humidity? You know what I mean? Keep them away from the light and the humidity. The white pages.
Did you ever read that blog from Mile High,
right?
where he found them?
I mean, I've read the story about it.
Well, like he was saying, the stacks, like there was the stuff in the basement, and then when he went up to the other room,
Yeah.
and the whole room was covered like stacks all the way up to the ceiling, and the books were packed so tightly that it kept them in awesome condition.
Pressing.
Yeah, I thought this was interesting.
Mystery, yeah, we just went over those, yeah. Who's
Yeah,
that?
I never see that one come up ever. These are rare books, these super mysteries, I'm telling you.
Is that Reed Crandall as well?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
This is the first where they have the swastika in here. First one. And it's pretty neat. The Statue of Liberty, the Nazis bombing U.S.
Mm-hmm.
Not too many books with that. Why did I put this in here? Wham 1.
I've never seen it.
Never seen it. Probably didn't sell that one.
It just confused me.
I don't know
what the hell is wrong with this.
I thought a genie out of a bottle turned into shot. I don't know. I don't understand. More Zip.
Oh, this is great.
These
great
are some of the
cover.
best covers. We were discussing this. One thing we don't do in here, we don't appreciate the Zip covers as much.
I like the zips that are not war related, and this is one of them. I don't. That might be is that an Irv Novick cover, perhaps? I can't read it obviously, but yeah, the Zip comics are really really cool. Could be Sam Cooper. Who knows?
Yeah.
I always thought this like brain in the bottle thing was so wild.
Yeah, and he's grabbing the blade of the guillotine and trashing it.
Charles,
wow,
of course, because he's crazy.
Yeah, MLJs, man. Those books are really cool.
It was just discussing that Zip.
Just get the colors on that one.
Yeah.
They had rich colors and really strong color strikes on the MLJ books. It's noticeable when you look at Black Hood and Hangman, you can see it even more. But the Zip, the Pep, those are also
MLJ is good quality.
Great stuff.
The this one with the swastikas, I don't recall seeing before. You know, every now and then you'll just miss stuff, and I definitely didn't see this.
I've never seen that before. It's kind of cool.
Oh, I like this one. I used to have this. It's a pretty cool guy, Captain Fight.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird that he doesn't have anything on that center piece.
Yeah.
That's the
character. Very short lived.
Bedford.
Yeah. Up.
That's a
Great
big one.
That's Big Alan Scott right there, huh?
Love that cover.
Yeah.
There's a
That's Lou Fine, right?
What number is 17? It's probably not Lou Fine if it's 17.
Oh, really?
Probably not. I mean, I'll look it up. He did the early ones, but by this point, I think it's probably a Reed Crandall. But
That would be the other one, right? Yeah.
I'll look it up while we're talking. Hit Comics, most of the early ones are Lou Fine, but like single digits. After that, it's not him. But it could be.
Yeah.
I might be wrong.
That guy who took over he tried hard to make it look like Fine.
Well, I'll tell you, if you look at like any of the quality stuff, like National Comics has Lou Fine and Crandall, and it's tough to tell the difference between the two. Hit Comics, same deal. It's really tough to tell the difference between Lou Fine and Reed Crandall on these titles where they both worked. But yeah, I'll check it out here while we're going through these and see.
This was Reed Crandall, the one we showed
What
earlier.
number is that one?
There she is.
Oh, it is a Lou Fine cover on that one.
Oh, good.
All right.
But he did number 10 is the first Reed Crandall art, but it's a Lou Fine cover. And then Reed Crandall starts doing covers. Well, maybe it's later than I thought, but 15 is where Crandall steps in. He does 15, 16, then Lou Fine does 17, and then Crandall does 18, 19, 20, and that's it. It keeps going. There's different people, Max Elkin and some other guys, Gil Fox and whatever. So yeah, the first 15 most are Lou Fine, and then after that there's a string of Reed Crandall, and then it gets mixed and matched.
We go 1941. It's a
Yeah,
pretty cool elephant cover, I have to say.
yeah, it's a beauty right there. That's
Oh, you could spec on this.
Yeah, there you go.
These have that kind of like indie comic feel to them
Yeah.
from
yeah.
the 80s, you know?
By the way, that Jumbo Zolnowicz cover is badass. Oh, whoa, go back, Iron Man. Doctor.
So here we go.
Yeah.
I bet a lot of people didn't think this was worth much, but it's got I threw some of this in here.
Yeah, it's first appearance of two people.
Yep.
The man who talks to fish and the bow and arrow expert. Right? It's just Aquaman and Green Arrow, right?
My son is a true dweller of the deep. His name shall be Aquaman.
Yeah, they retconned that one too.
Weird origin story, I have to say.
Yeah.
But it's cool that he kind of looks the same.
Isn't it also Green Arrow?
Yeah. Bam.
Yeah.
Not as cool. They have a pretty awesome car, though. It's like this sci-fi looking thing.
Nice.
Oh, here we go. 41. I love this cover. It's a Kirby. I love it because
Of the Golden Age.
they don't often Hitler looks silly and stupid, and they really made him look threatening here. And I like that.
Like really menacing. Yep.
Yeah. And
And you got to admit that's the first Drax the Destroyer. So
no, Drax was actually number 6.
Drax is 6. This is
Or Destroyer, yeah.
Yeah, I actually want to get one of these Mystics with Destroyer on it.
Yeah.
But I'm competing with Timely collectors, so I can't get one. I want
Yeah, and it got worse. It was always bad, and then once this kind of Stan Lee mania took over, like even just a little bit before he passed away, somehow I don't know what happened, but everyone like started buying them because it was his first character, or whatever.
Yeah.
But
anything with Destroyer on it's really expensive, and it's Timely collectors going after it, and I don't want to pay a Timely price for it. But I'll get
they're
one.
always rare too of the
Yeah,
Timeless. And that thing always reminds me of this.
the Ark of the Covenant. Yeah.
I saw in the theater, and when they opened the Ark, my dad, who had seen the movie before me, covered my face so I couldn't see what happened.
We got to watch it. My sister got yelled at from letting me watch it.
Here's I think this is a Crandall. I'm pretty sure.
What number is it?
17.
National 17.
But it almost looks similar, but not quite.
It's Well, it doesn't say on my comic shop who the artist is, so I have to look on CGC. I'm not going there, but the one before it is Reed Crandall,
Mm.
and the one after it is Reed Crandall. So it's probably Reed Crandall, but Lou Fine did number 15, 14,
Right.
13, 12. He did all the early ones, so I don't know. Could be.
Look at this crazy thing.
Yeah, that's a cool one.
That's a good one.
These are really hard.
Torpedo Comics had one of these, and it was like Oh, it was like a 6.0. And I
Wow.
inquired about it, and he wanted 2,500 or something.
Mm.
I told him I would have given him 1,800, and we couldn't reach a deal. He wasn't moving on it, and nobody bought it from him. He put it in an auction, and it sold for like $5,000.
Yep.
Yeah, I kind of missed the boat on that. But I mean, me and him both had it undervalued because they had a low price on it too. And it's not a bureau cover. It's some random artist. I can't remember who the artist is. It's not a big name artist. It's one of those randos. I don't even know who it was. It's not a bureau.
I thought this was a cool cover.
Yeah, that one's nice.
Oh, this one's pretty crazy. They're putting the people in the stew.
Just cooking them up. It's chilly,
It's time.
brother.
U.S. Jones, #1.
Yeah, cool book. I think that's pretty rare.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see that often.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be surprised if there's one on eBay. You know, most of these books, it's funny, you know, you can't, you'd be like, oh, that's cool, I'll buy one. And you're like, nope, I can't. You know,
I've seen that before, though. Photography.
but like right now, I bet a lot of these you can't even get. Like,
I don't think I've ever seen that live.
buy it right now. Which to me, since the net, it can, you know, is everywhere. That's the definition of something that's truly rare.
Well, there is one on eBay.
All right, so
It's out.
not too rare. Now.
A 5.0.
There's a 5.0 on eBay. 5.0 off white.
Which book are we talking about?
U.S. James 1.
U.S.
Yeah.
Jones.
Collectors Comics has it. It's a 5.0 off white for $17.95, so $1,800 for a 5.0. And it's probably worth it. I mean, that's an early book. 41.
New character.
I'd rather get a late Schomburg cap.
That
So
breaks.
this book, I had to break out the story to this one. So there weren't, I think he sold them all now, but for a while, and here's the Canadian version.
Canadian Reds.
Yeah.
But this was, let's see here. Story goes, so Gator, this was Gator's like favorite book. He always would buy these things. And it's, the story goes, he finally told everybody, and the story is that as a little kid, he used to watch this show,
Mhm.
and he wanted that costume to be him for Halloween. And then so his grandma's like, all right, but I'll make you the costume, but we need to figure out what he looks like or something. So she bought that comic for him, and then you know, time went by and she had Alzheimer's, and you know, which makes people forget who you even are. And he was visiting her, you know, still doing that, even though she didn't know who he was at that point. But at one point she asked him like, hey, do you still have that comic book? And he was just like, what? And they talked about that, and then she kind of went away again. But he said at that point he bought every book he could find.
Nice.
The picture of that. But I think that's cool. That's pretty neat. You don't see too many I don't know, like attachments to these old Golden Age books as much as you hear people talking about, you know, 70s or 80s comics.
Right.
But that's a lot of whiz.
Wiz
I think
20.
I think he did sell them, but it was a cool story.
Nice.
That's a real crappy disease.
Nice.
All right, Zip 20.
Nice.
Steve, I'm not sure who that guy is. Okay, Blackjack. There's a Hitler down there too, which is pretty cool. I'm sure that one.
I didn't even know that.
Airboy. Mhm.
I always think of the other cover that's very similar to this and drawn better, and I can never remember the name of it, but maybe I'll show that next week.
Catman.
pretty crazy looking Catman here. And I think it's one of the only Buddha covers I've seen. It's got a Buddha.
Yeah.
It's like they're making
Nice.
that out to be some kind of evil thing.
That's a tough title. There's a lot of collectors for that title too.
Oh God, no. Why does it?
This is a Charles Bureau cover, and this is one of the, for PCH, even though it's crime, it's a horror crime.
She's
One of the top, very, very violent. If you can get a good picture so we can see it.
Yeah.
there we go.
And it's got death behind him, egging him on. And I mean, her head is on fire. That's insane, dude.
And look at that clock with the skull on it. It's pretty cool. I mean, this is 42. I mean,
Yeah.
this is super early. Like I mean, I don't know what you'd call this type of cover, but I feel like it's a kind of its own genre thing. Maybe
Well,
just
I would put that into the Dark Golden Age, Dark GA.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Dark GA is a genre this fits in. It's not really a crime cover, no. But it's not really a horror cover. But it's sort of, it's just dark.
it's horrific.
It is horrific.
And it's not like she's a real villain, you know. It's like it's just showing horror to innocent, I guess. So yeah, maybe, you know, I wonder what the first one is. This could be a runner.
Oops.
69. I actually like this one a lot.
It's my favorite of the Joker covers of the Golden Age.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like it.
It's growing on me. I don't know what the hell is going on with this. I hate this program sometimes. All right, Pep. Oh yeah. Okay, so this was funny. MLJ, I don't know what they were thinking this month, but they just went crazy putting swastikas on everything. So we got this guy. So swastika on a Viking.
Or a caveman.
Really? Jeez.
Viking with the swastika. So I'll zoom in on that.
Caveman with a
So
Viking.
that's pretty weird. And then we got another one where
That was like a hangman. Yeah.
Yeah.
same month, right? Same year, same month.
Great.
So we'll put it on a monk. You'll have Nazi knights and monks. And then we'll have Nazi zombies. Sure, why not? We'll have Nazi zombies. So
Yeah, that too is badass. I tried to buy one of those on the Connect auction and I missed out on it. I couldn't. It was a 6.0 white pages, and I bid up to 6,000 on it. I literally bid up to 6,000 on it, and it sold for 7,900 or 8. So I was off by a good bit. But I bid what I thought pretty heavy on. I mean, I bid $6,000 on that book, and yeah, that's a good book there.
used to not be worth that much. I mean,
Yeah, big book.
when I first started Golden Age, I mean, and like looking things up, I was like, I'll get all the Nazi zombies, and this was one of them. And I missed a few, but they were like $400 or something. It wasn't that much.
Yeah, a lot of MLJs were pretty cheap compared to, other than like obviously Pep 22 or something like that, but were reasonable compared to Timely. Timely was always more money.
Yeah.
I mean, DC and Timely. I mean,
MLJs have really gained a very large, devoted following, and it's a niche area of Golden Age to collect. But the guys who go after MLJs these days go after them aggressively.
Yeah.
There are not a lot of them out there, so the price, it's not like there's price data like a lot of Golden Age, but this stuff, the MLJs, they go after it aggressively, and the prices can spike. It's really hard to value them, and they're hard to find, and the guys who go after them do so very aggressively, and it's a really hot category of Golden Age right now. It's sort of under the radar because not a lot of people are into MLJs.
There's one on eBay right now.
A Zip 32?
Yeah. It's really beat up though.
Oh, I've probably seen it then. I tried to buy, I was going to buy a 3.5 or a 4.0, but it sold before I inquired about it. And he's like, I already sold it. So I missed it. And then there was a 6.0 white pager, and it was a pedigree copy. I can't remember what it was, but on Comic Connect that I just lost out on. I have those only two I've seen.
And this, and I do think actually right now there is a lot more stuff on eBay than usual. Like in the past, even 2 years ago, I'd say there's just all the comic shops. Everyone has to go online, put their stuff online.
That's a famous, very hard to find book.
Yeah, I think it's her first appearance, but I wasn't able to verify that.
It's Valkyrie, and it's been swiped on the modern air.
Yeah,
it's the swipe of the modern air boys. But if you're an Airboy fan, there you go. I mean, if you're a Heap fan, you don't need it, but if you're an Airboy fan, that's the one.
Yeah, it's like one of the only ones I like. But oh, here we go.
Show me.
What a great book.
Yeah,
My favorite.
I think is that the first time you see the inside of the shield?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, because he did USA 7 before this, and that is
for timely collectors. This is like one of the absolute best Schomburg's, best caps, and I like it. It's cool.
I love the parachuting cap. Yeah,
I'm seeing books like mid grades are being priced at like 15 grand, and that was excessive to me, even for what it is. But I was curious what you think, Knights.
Well, it's just one of those ones, every publisher has like, if you were thinking you had like a encyclopedia about all the different artists and all the different publishers of comics history, if they had something about Schomburg and Captain America and Timely, this would have to be in there. So I think any book like that, no matter what, that's kind of well known like that, is going to be expensive. I've heard a lot of people say that there's a lot of copies of this like in existence. I haven't looked at the numbers much, but for me, I've had a couple different copies of it, and it can be tricky, I feel, to find one that has a nice color strike. A lot of them, the registration's a little bit off. So yeah, I got mine a couple years ago, but only after really looking at it and knowing I knew that copy was like super good registration. But I'd say, and I actually got a decent deal, I think. It's hard to say sometimes with these prices, but
there's 62 on the census.
Yeah, I mean that's still pretty low, but it's a little high
for Timely. That's lower, and they go from pretty evenly distributed from 9.2. There's 4 at 9.2, and then 3 at 9.0, and then there's 2 to 3 each all the way down, pretty steadily all the way down to 0.5.
And black cover, a lot of people like that. And one thing I love is that there's no sidekicks on there, which I like. And Cap has a gun, and he's got the parachuting straps, which he just looks cool.
Well, I like the black cover and the castle part of it the best.
Yep.
It feels like the price. I'm not a Timely collector, so I don't have an opinion on the price per se, but I see the prices that this book is being asked for and what it's selling for, and it's way up there. It must be one of the top ranked Timelies up there, because it's just like mid grades are like 15 grand. That's really, really high for even top notch mid grade Timelies like Marvel Mysteries or Caps, or even 5.0s are like 6 or 7 or 8 grand for big ones. They're not 15 usually, so that's really high price.
Well, it might be the best Schomburg that has all 3 Timely characters on it.
All right.
So if you think about, maybe someone just wants to get one book from the Timelies that kind of represents what it was all about.
Yeah.
I mean, this is kind of it. You got Cap, you got World War II, you got all 3 characters and Schomburg.
Yeah, and it doesn't have the bright red. It's got the black cover and the subdued tan back. It's a different looking one, so it's unique. I get it. It's just I'm always surprised when I see the price. I have a hard time differentiating between the quality of Timelies, because a lot of them look like good Timelies to me, and then the prices are way off from each other. So I have a hard time telling because I'm not a Timely collector. But yeah, I get it.
Got a little popular because it was on, I think, one of the price guides, the
Okay.
Overstreet at one point.
Oh, I think I might have that one.
Got
It's
a little
featured
pop.
on the cover of one of my Golden Age covers books.
And what's neat is it says Hitler's Berchtesgaden or something like that. That's the town of his eagle's nest.
Yep.
And I grabbed a couple pictures of that. So
Yeah.
Schomburg, he loved to use, reference, and the his actual eagle's nest is like, I think what he meant to say here was like his eagle's nest, but he's called it like Hitler's, and that's the name of the town, Birchenheimer, but this is the town. The architecture is similar. There's not like a moat or anything, but those like roofs are kind of similar. And there's a closer up. It's a nice cap. I mean, that cap, sometimes he can draw them a little goofy looking, but that one's still pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a good one. Yeah.
And here's a couple other pictures. This is the actual eagle's nest. That view is freaking insane.
In the Bavarian Alps, yeah.
And here's a picture of back in the day, and then someone who went not too long ago. You could still see a lot of. It's pretty crazy, like that wall right there.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, I think that also, like, because of that, believe it or not, I mean, that name. Any book that has like that kind of coffee table, like that little extra dimension to it, where you can talk about the interesting things about the book to people who don't collect comics or something. I feel like those kind of books always have a little bit higher of a. They just have a few dollars extra to the price tag, it seems like. And because of that Hitler's thing, it kind of puts it in a place in history a little bit.
Very cool.
This is a pretty neat one here. This is another Mile High, but I don't know the artist. What is the artist? It doesn't even say on this, but I thought that was cool. Smoke.
Yeah, that's one of those a novelty publication, probably. Yeah, they did Target and Blue Bolt, and those have some of the. This is the ones I'm talking about. The interiors have some splash pages that are just insanely cool. There's one of those, like a Target, I think it has an interior double page LB Cole splash. I can't even remember exactly. I think I probably took a picture of it. I should show you. You ever run across these in low grade, they're worth opening up just to see. But I'll bet you I have a picture saved in my phone because that's such a phenomenal spread. Let me see if I can find it.
All right.
I would have saved it, I'm sure.
Here's a nice Schomburg you could pick up for a lot cheaper than Timely's.
One of my favorite Black Terror covers there.
That's a great one. Yeah, this. It's interesting. He doesn't have his mask on.
Nope. I just thought it was badass that he didn't have it on.
Yeah, you want to see this?
Yeah, let me bring it on the big screen.
This has been a random Target comics from around that same time period, same publisher. It's just Target Comics. You wouldn't even know from the cover. This is in there. This is an LB Cole double page spread. The Unknown Soldier.
Let's take a look.
Oh wow. Jeez.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
And you see these are like skeletonized soldier. Yeah. Is Hitler as the devil.
What year is this?
A U.S. soldier crucified. This is a double page LB Cole spread inside of a Target Comics.
Do you know what year this book was?
I can't even remember which one it is, but it's middle of the war.
That's awesome.
One of the early ones.
That's phenomenal.
Wow, that's really cool.
It's a Target Comics that on the front is not. You wouldn't know that's in there. But anyway, that was so cool. I had to save a picture of it.
Yeah.
If I see it, I'll remember the cover and I'll be like, ooh, that's the one. But off the top of my head, I can't tell you what number or anything. But I think it's one that has two guys on the front, either fighting or something. But there's two guys on the front, and that's it. So if I see it, I'll know it. I've made a point to memorize it so it'll jump out at me. But
nice. Captain Arrow, yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool. Has the Japanese burning a hospital. So that was, they just, showed all kinds of stuff of them doing the war crime thing. I looked at this and I thought, like, I felt like there weren't too many books that were as kind of suggestive like this one, as far as with the maiden in distress. They usually, don't have their legs like open like that, which I just thought that was interesting. Because I mean, and maybe it was just me, but I don't recall seeing other books like that.
Mhm.
It's like they had some restraint.
Well, the kitten, right? That's her.
Yeah, Kitten, Catman and Kitten.
Yeah, this one was funny. Hell's Kitchen. So this must have been, the Hell's Kitchen protector before Daredevil showed up, right?
Yeah,
The Boy King.
The Boy King. Oh man, see, they missed a lot of opportunities.
I think it's probably a Hillman publication. I'm not positive.
Yeah, can't tell.
Hillman had some cool stuff. They had some decently known titles.
It's a pretty cool Hitlerish little funny guy.
Anamorphic animals, very popular at this point.
Those funny animals in SS and Nazi military outfits just look so strange to me. It's so crazy.
That's a Timely, right?
Yeah, yep. Here's a weird Nazi ghost ship.
Yep, that's a tough to find Green Hornet.
Number cover?
I don't know.
Hornet covers.
I ran into that guy who has every Green Hornet from the Golden Age, who was telling me some of these artists' names, and I didn't recognize a lot of them.
Yeah, it's a weird hooded guy who actually has like a mouth open on there. I don't know. It's weird. That's number 15. This is a classic one.
Classic Ranger cover. Early one.
Chop that right in half. There we go. 1943 still. Here's another 1944, another number one Timely.
Timely, yep.
I think he's fighting Nazis there too. Pretty cool. 1944. Timely with the skull and the syringe.
Yeah, that one's real cool. I like that one a lot. I saw one of these recently too. It was like a 7.0 that sold for what did it sell for? 10 grand or something? 10 or 12. It's a pretty big price on it.
This is always not one I really wanted, but it's just a strange, it's like a Japanese alien. They're in league with the aliens as well. And I don't know if it's still rare, but good luck. It was one of those USA books that, like, good luck finding anything. It just couldn't find it.
You can tell that's one of those other artists too, like Sid Shore or something. Yeah. Face is different.
He's wearing pants.
This is kind of neat. Schomburg one. Television's on there. I think it's one of the first with TV on the cover or something. There's some like note about this book on CGC cover labels, I think, about TV. I don't know if TV was even. I mean, this is 1945.
It wasn't common.
I mean, television that big.
Classic right here.
Batman Goes Broke. Remember those like little I'm gonna run away little sticks?
Yeah. Usually they have the red handkerchief tied on it and they're walking down the railroad tracks.
Yeah. Like kids today, I doubt would even know what the hell that is. Be like, what is that?
Their iPhone so they could pay for everything.
Yeah.
We had before our cat passed away, he wasn't fixed for the longest time. So when he would go out at night, he would be gone sometimes for a couple days. And Mrs. Yes would really worry about him.
Yeah.
And coming back. And I'm like, he'll be back. He sometimes is gone for a couple of days. But we would always joke that maybe he got sick of us and he walking down the railroad tracks with all his belongings in that on the end of a stick, walking with his head hung low down the railroad tracks with exactly that. So but he always came back.
It's one of those images, little things you just don't see.
Yeah.
Classic girl on the rack.
This one I don't like, and I'll tell you why. Because it looks like it doesn't look like she's tied to the wheel. It looks like she's being like pulled forward while she's standing, like by an invisible force. It just looks awkward to me. I can't.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't know. It's off-putting when I look at it. It's drawn weird, like the way she's on the wheel or something. And I'm an artist. That's probably hard to draw a woman tied to a spinning wheel like that. But that one's not done particularly well, in my opinion.
Aren't those ships supposed like those big wheel turning types of ships? Aren't they like massive? Seems like a mini version or something.
Well, they have small ones. I know they're not all huge.
Just Mississippi River boats with Japanese people on
it.
Now, what about this? This seemed a little early for me for this type of deal.
Well, let me tell you something.
45.
All right, so that is traditionally called the first horror cover.
Oh.
Some people confuse that phrase by saying it's the first horror comic book. It's not from cover to cover, not all horror inside, but people will say it's the first horror cover in comics. And when they talk about that, they're saying it can't have a superhero on it. It just has to be purely horror, not superheroes. You can't count the old Fox books or anything. So that's 45. There's no date. 45.
Number one.
This one is from 1944. And this predate that. And this is certainly a horror cover, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So this predates that. So that's not the first horror cover. If you say this doesn't have a superhero on it, and it's definitely a horror cover.
Talk about that for a second. I gotta be right back. Sorry.
And then also there's Punch 12 is January of 45. That's the classic skull cover, JD. You know that one. Anybody in the gold knows that one with the giant skull on the cover and the people falling out of it and the girl shooting.
Oops, sorry.
That's January of 45. So at best, front page ties it because front page just says 1945, no month. Well, Punch 12 is January of 45.
Right. So
Punch, earlier, Punch 11 is a horror cover with like a sort of a cloaked skeleton chasing people. And that is 1944. This is 1944. So yeah, that's not the first horror cover. Now I'm not saying this is, but I'm saying front page is not. And that is traditional. Everybody says that's the first horror cover. And I think Dynamic 8 is a horror cover and it predates that by a year. So I don't know. That's my view of it. But front page sells. It's a cool book.
I agree with you. This is definitely more horror with the graveyard and everything. There's no real background to yours. Yeah. So maybe that's part of it, you know, what people are taking into account, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of a zombie.
Because it really is the guy with the candle is the main horror portion of it. Everything else is kind of like cartoony.
Well, I mean, my guy's got the top of his head removed, and he's got a candle.
Great. That's my point. It's the best part of that cover by far.
And he's got skulls in his eyes.
Skulls in his eyes, and isn't there a skull in the candle?
Yeah.
But the other, outside the woman, look at the characters' faces. They're kind of like,
yeah. It's not. It's
as opposed to this one, which is a graveyard scene, zombie.
Yeah,
I like your book better.
It's more classic horror. I just don't think this can be called the first horror cover. And if you include superheroes, you've got Our Flag 5.
Yeah.
That takes place with ghouls in a graveyard, but it has a superhero on it. But that's right out of a horror movie. So I don't know. Anyway, that's the rundown on that from the DS position.
I'd definitely rather have your book than this book.
Yeah, we all agree with that.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's worth more.
This might be a first, but this is crap. Yeah.
Well, mine's worth more, and it's much rarer, And for me, I think it's a cooler book. But I do like front page. I'd like to own a copy at some point.
Does this say on the CGC label first horror?
I don't think so. It's an Avon one shot, I think.
Now, JD, you tell me. I feel like they did this cover. I feel like I always see this, and I wondered if they did the swipe thing.
Fiction House. It's actually been used a couple of times. It's not necessarily that the legs might be different or anything else, or I had me facing the other way, but this is a theme in Ranger comics. So
no, it just says first appearance of Man in Black. It's a Bob Fujitani cover, which is actually pretty cool. 18 on the census, 1945 Harvey. It's a Harvey book. So I don't know. Bob Fujitani's good. He did some good MLJ stuff. He did Pep 34 with the Nazi monster with his hand on top of the skull and the syringe. Pep 34. That one's
that's a good one.
That's a Bob Fujitani cover.
Here's one of the hardest characters to collect: the Blonde Phantom.
Great cover. Her first appearance.
Very expensive.
I mean, you always just gotta appreciate when the first appearance has the character on the book.
Yep.
So
this is a very pricey book.
For that.
That looks, I don't know who did it, but every time I see this book, I think of Will Eisner, and he probably is not the one who did it, but
Timely.
I always think Will Eisner when I see it. I
It's
don't
very
know why.
yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a spirit book.
I like this one. It's kind of cool.
Yep.
Yeah, that's not bad.
1946.
I think Guru had one of those in pretty high grade. Pretty nice copy of that.
Nice.
This is not the first appearance of Harlequin, but and I was like, who is that? I never heard of her before. This is her first appearance. I think two issues before, and I looked it up, and it's kind of silly story that she started doing crime just to get his attention, and they ended up getting married.
Is her name Harlequin?
I mean, it's Harlequin, but it's kind of, it's like then there's a few after her, and they are all kind of tied into Harley Quinn, I guess, a little, but I don't know.
Well, it probably inspired it to some degree, I would bet.
He's got the Destroyer's pants, I think.
Yeah, she does. You're right.
I always got creeped out by this cover. Jesus.
That's
I don't know if it was in Sodi or not, but it should have been. If I was Frederick Wortham, this would have been one of my top books.
Yeah.
It's got bondage. It's got a dominatrix feel to it. It's got violence and a sexual thing to it. This would be Frederick Wortham top 5, I would think.
Horrific.
This is not good for kids. I would agree with I wouldn't let my kids have this book. It's messed up.
Really weird.
I mean, they're like in diapers or something.
Yeah. Here's one of my favorite, the best books with the best shadowing in any Golden Age comic book. Love it.
Yeah, I used to have 3 copies of this, and I just kept the highest one, so I have a 7.5.
Yeah, love the shadow.
Were there any other notable crack comics?
There's a couple that I like. There's one with a skull on it, but that might be a Smash Comics. I get the two confused.
What about the one with the robot, the early robot? Is that crack or is that Smash?
That's Smash Comics with the robot, the original Iron Man. That's Smash. Yeah. Same publisher though. I don't know. Crack. Nothing from Crack really excites me except for this one, and this is way into the title because it's number 51.
I saw something called Movie Comics. 1936 had a robot on it. I'm trying to find it.
Oh.
Okay, so that's the first robot cover I heard.
No, I don't think it was 36 though.
It's early. I mean, it's
me and Night here talked about this, and Smash Comic 1 is the first robot cover, and that was like September of 39.
39, I think.
Yeah. Movie Comics was before that.
Each month from September to 39 up to the middle of 41, there were numerous other robot covers, including Smash 3. And then at the end of that was Fantastic Comics 3. Movie Comics was in there as number 2. But there's also, or maybe number 3, there's also a Wonder World, Lou Fine Mystery Men. It's a Mystery Men comics with a robot on the lower right.
Yeah, you're right. It's 39.
Yeah, it's like December of 39 or October of 39.
Yeah.
And that's third.
Oh,
Second, and then Mystery Men.
the Man in the Iron Mask is 39. But that's the Lou one. But the one I was talking about is October of 39. It's just like a I want to show this, so let me
yeah, that one's cool. I'm on the lookout for that, but I never see one.
I saw one on Facebook, but I asked him if it was for sale. He said no.
Yeah, it's a tough one to find.
Let me see if I could share this one here.
It's a killer. I love it.
This is the book right here. Let me see if you can see that. Hang on, application window.
And I've got a Smash 3 and a Smash 5, but I don't have a Smash 1. But Smash 3 and 5 are both robot covers, and they're both early. They're both 1939.
This is it here. You see it?
Yeah, there it is.
That's the one I was talking about. Yeah, see, it's a photo cover down here.
Oh yeah.
And up here, it's obviously not. But these guys look like the messed up faces from Beneath the Planet of the Apes. Remember them?
Yeah.
Planet of the Apes? Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I think so. So I think that would be the third robot cover, and then there's that Mystery Men would be number 2, and then Smash Comics 3 is right after that, and then Smash 5, and then Fantastic 3. I think that's the one. And then you get into 1940. But once they hit in late 39, there was a whole bunch of robot covers all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of cool.
Anthony in the chat said TV was first introduced in 1939 at the World's Fair.
Oh, wow. Okay.
My grandfather was in the marching band in the Marines and passed right by the president. He would always tell me that story.
Yeah.
1939. All right. Where we got? We're on 47. We got some
Zella.
Al Schomburg covers.
Zila airbrushing.
Pretty neat.
Mm-hmm.
This is a first appearance of Thorn,
Yes.
which I don't know if she's anything in the DC universe now, but
The
Yeah,
grandmother,
maybe it looks like.
Poison Ivy's mother.
Yeah, right. Or the Enchantress.
Yeah, Marvel. JoJo. That is literally
It's another
Spider from an upside down version of the same girl is upside down without a torch. Just turn her upside down and it's the cover before.
really? Oh
Yeah,
my god.
somebody holding her upside down with longer hair. Same thing. But that's Joe Doolin right there, JoJo, Comic King.
I like that Mountain of Skulls. That's
Yeah,
gotta be
Pretty bad.
like
These-
the most
These
skulls ever.
Fox Jungle books are really going way up higher. First of all, she's way better dressed than the Fiction House was. So
I don't think I've ever seen more skulls on the cover than that one.
nice.
Mhm. Maybe.
Uh-huh.
There's some Atlas
Maybe
ones.
Golden Age. Yeah.
Oh,
Manhunt.
here's another one. I mean, this is like the month of the poor chicks, with the burning
All right.
on the stove, and this one is really bad.
It's a classic electric chair cover right there.
Yeah.
Expensive too, I would say. Right?
Expensive. I would say like a VG copy would probably run. They don't sell that often. I would say $1,200, maybe $1,000 to $1,200 for a G copy, depending on how presentable it was.
A 3540.
Yeah, I would say like a 4.0 off white to white average presenting copy probably be $1,000, maybe. Well, it might probably be now, maybe 1,200.
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely buy that. Jesus.
I mean, it might be more. That's what I'm saying though. This could come up a 4.0 off white to white could come up and then it sell for 2,500. Yeah, it's one of those who knows? But I think probably
How do you get this for under $1,000?
no, I don't think you get it for under $1,000. I mean, you can find a beater copy, like a beat up 2.0, probably for like 700 or 600.
I don't know, maybe. It's pretty awesome though. The rich, it's showing the rich are just gonna watch this thing happen.
No, I mean they're eating dinner and this is the show.
Yeah,
it's crazy, man.
Dinner date with death.
Milestone. All right. That's pretty wild cover too.
Famous. Yep, that's been done. That's the hanging cover. Very
Joe Doolin, right?
What?
I think that's Joe Doolin.
Yep, and that's one of the best works right there. The horse is ridiculous.
This one I like how this one's drawn. Some of these Fiction House comics in these later runs, like that wheel torture cover, I don't think this one is drawn very well. The way her posture is, how the rope is tilting her chin up a little bit, her posture on the horse. I think this is drawn really, really well.
You can feel that tension.
Yeah, you can feel it. It really is drawn well. Complete opposite of that water wheel torture one. This one really gets it.
I'm not a huge fan of this one, but it's got cool colors. I mean, there probably weren't too many other books that had this feel to them.
Well, and you see those little green men. The Bender is like the robot version of them.
Yeah,
right.
Which is the next issue. What is that? 48.
48.
48, 49.
No, I mean, what's that one?
Robot.
What's that one? 47 or 49?
I don't know.
That's Starling 48. That's Sterling 63.
Oh, Starling.
Yeah, I can't tell what that is.
I have that. That's Schoenberg's elephant cover. One of
nice.
two. Yep.
Yeah,
I got that for $40 about 4 years ago. Nobody knew it was Schoenberg.
If I'm rich someday, I'm right next to my non-existent right now box of black Atlas horror books, black covers is going to be a box full of just only these
yellow covers.
Awesome, like airbrush Alex Schoenberg.
Yeah.
That would be so cool to see all those, flip through all those at once. That'd be awesome. There's the first appearance of the Black Rider right here.
Yeah.
2. Don't bother looking for number 1.
That is an expensive book, and there is no number 1, right?
This is number 1.
Right. All winners. Yep, they're the Blonde Phantom with the. Yep.
Here's another one. Schoenberg is going. These can't be too much money, right? I don't know.
They weren't until people started selling on the board for hundreds of bucks.
I think
there are a lot of them out there. So I'm telling you, there are a lot out there of these airbrushes.
Yeah, they only seem to sell well when they have really good color strike and present really well, because they're sort of like airbrush, but they're like paintings. I feel like when a good condition one comes up, it really goes for a good price. But if it's not good condition, it drops way down.
Yeah.
Way down.
Next time I go to a con, I want to look at a bunch of these in hand and just see how they are, and it'd be cool to see a bunch of, I don't know if you can, but maybe 1 or 2 copies of the same issue to see how different they could be, how the condition affects the colors. Because some books, once the condition goes down, kind of, I think like that Foxwell I got, once it gets kind of lowish looking, it just doesn't look good.
Yeah, I agree. I see these. I mean, I don't go to a lot of cons, but when I go to like 2 a year, I see a lot of Schoenberg airbrush stuff on the wall. Like a lot of dealers have, like JD's saying, I don't think they're that rare. There seems to be a lot of them out there. Yeah. Exciting, Starling, and what's the other one?
I'd rather have this, to be honest. I think
Thrilling. Thrilling.
Yeah, Thrilling. This one is surprisingly tough to find. I've been looking for a copy of this for a while, and it's really got to be one of the more rare in this run.
Of all the Tiger Girl Fight Comics issues, this is the one when every time I look to buy a run, that's never, or like, because I want like 3 of the elephants, and you get like 5 to 18 or whatever it is. It's in the 60s, but I'm just grabbing at that. I've never seen that in any of the piles of any of the books. I've asked people about it too, because
Well,
I know people that have always wanted that.
I've been looking for this one for probably not hardcore, but I mean, I'll buy if I see a nice copy. But I've been looking probably for 3 years. Keeping an eye out for 3 years. In those 3 years, I've probably seen 3 copies. Now, more, but I've only seen a couple copies in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
It's not around.
Dale Roberts had one at C2E2 2 years ago, and he didn't
Well,
have it.
book,
And
right?
and then I went back on Sunday, and he didn't have it.
Yeah, I want like a one with a good color, like a mid grade with good color.
Yeah,
And
his was
only-
about a 3.
I haven't seen one, so
Yeah, his was a
And,
3 Peter. But
Is this the first appearance of Splinter from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles too?
in the back there, yeah.
yeah, I think that guy in the background looks kind of goofy, but I like the bat in the foreground is why I like it. But it's also a book.
And look how cool it is. It's kind of weird, but it's awesome how he's fighting the knife.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's cool. And the guy in the background's a little goofy, but it's still cool because he's wearing like an outfit of a bat and he's being tackled by a tiger. And in the foreground is a giant bat biting the knife while it's a cool cover. It's tough.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Matt Baker.
It's a nice one. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Huh. Maybe that's the oldest woman he's ever drawn.
Yeah, she's got a little gray.
Rula number 20, my unicorn.
Oh, really?
I've had it in my hands, and I'm going to know which copy I'm going to buy, and I'm going to have it. But it's a great one, except the fact that the rope stops just before there, and she's really not hanging on to anything.
Yeah, the rope is weird.
Yeah, but the issue with that one because but it's a badass thing. That elephant is mauling that woman.
Yeah, I like that elephant. It's pretty awesome.
It is pretty
And
bad.
the hippo under there?
Rula number 20. What?
There's a hippo under this.
Yeah, it's underneath the raft. Yeah, the hippo is turning over the raft, and the elephant's pushing it back. Yeah,
it's pretty awesome.
Sun
Decent
Girl,
stuff,
cool
girl.
copy.
Timely, hard to get, expensive usually. This to me, I only put this in there because those helmets that those guys had.
The vulture up?
The bird
Yeah,
hats.
they're vultures. They're vultures. Yeah.
It reminded me so much of this.
G-Force?
Yeah, the bird helmets.
From G-Force? I know that, yeah. Battle of the Planets.
Yeah, Gotcha Man, as it's called in Japan. But it's really funny how different, how similar that is. It's the full bird.
I was going to say it looks like Mr. Toombs, you know?
We got the cool Jackie Robinson book.
Yeah.
It's cool. He got his own comic. I wonder what that comic is, though. Like, I wonder if there's pictures on the inside, or
I think it's a true life story of him.
Like drawn comic book.
Yeah.
Form.
Yep.
Oh, that's cool. I love these Kirby Black Magic books.
Yeah.
They're so
Very
wild.
Books, yeah.
I don't know what the hell's going on here. And this is a pretty good fanny, you know.
The tail light cover.
You don't see that as blatantly as this, or at least in that pose too often, it seems like.
Checking it out too. You know, she's like, damn, that's American.
Is that like a painted cover?
I don't think so.
Almost looks like it's a Whitman, though.
Yeah, I'm going to see who did that one because I have seen. There's been a few people have asked me about Cowgirl books. I'm like, they are. I mean, Cowpuncher's up there. There's a few that are hot. If you're starting
They started doing. Yeah, I mean, this is 50 now. They started doing some cool stuff with coloring in some of those books, like those late Fight. Is it Fight where they turn into like a ghost story kind of thing?
Jumbo.
Yeah, Jumbo. Yeah, they do some really cool like translucent stuff with the colors that you don't see too often. But I feel like you got some of that going on here.
Well, I think it's the same publisher, and it looks like a Whitman to me. I think same deal.
All right, so Fiction House. Let's see. Yep, and that is 1950. And it is Jack Kamen.
Jack Kamen. Okay.
Love this one. We were talking about this not too long ago. Can't
Yeah.
remember. There's another book that was similar to this or something.
Yeah, I think Jeff was saying this is the aliens have come out of the UFO, and it looks
Yeah.
like the guys that were in the Frazetta Famous Funnies
Yeah.
12, I think it is.
Very cool. Very
13.
cool. Who? Yeah, I wonder who the artist of this one is. This, I wondered if they were like, we need to change the cover quick. Like, because they didn't spend too much time on it.
He said about the noir-nish of it.
They have a couple in this title that are mostly black. I think it's by design that they did this. They have a couple that are like that. And if I come across one with no spine ticks, I'll buy it. You know?
Yeah.
Whereas a black cover like that would be highly sought after with not a bunch of damage on it. It'd be tough.
War number 1.
Yeah, and I like this title. I like war books, but I never understood why early on it always says war. It's
I know.
Twice. Why do they do that? You know what I
And
mean?
it's kind of odd with the like crazy looking sci-fi ships in the background.
Yeah.
Not sure what they're going for. Are you guys watching that Lovecraft County?
I'm starting it. Got through the first episode. I mean,
Yeah.
I kind of like that stuff, but
I watched
Well,
the first episode and then I got interrupted. I haven't gone back to it. So
but it's pretty neat, like the 50s, because it, talks about the Korean War and stuff. It reminds me a lot of, what we talk about. It's pretty cool. I like her little friend here. She's riding. It's pretty neat.
borrowing it from Aquaman, yeah.
yeah, there's no Seahorse covers out there.
Can't.
That's gotta be a short list.
Yeah.
I don't think she ever breathes on. I don't think she breathes underwater.
Yeah. Doesn't she save him in the movie? She seems to be holding her breath for a while there.
I don't remember that in the comic. There you go. Eventually, all known. There's Frankenstein.
Pretty cool Frankenstein.
Yeah, that's all right.
Adventures in the Real World. Yeah.
This is what is this? The number 1. This is the number 1. Yeah, I guess that's why I put it. The sidebar here. I like the lady is pretty terrifying in the top there. The mad thing is pretty good.
I'll tell you, I like all the Atlas titles have all those little boxes on the side with little separate little mini covers almost.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't like about this cover is you can't see what the monster is. You just see the arms and that's it. Like,
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
Submarine with arms.
I love this one though. Damn. That's good.
That's a good one.
yeah, that is a good one.
And you know who did this? Take a guess.
Russ Heath.
Aw, damn it. See, I was surprised at that because, I didn't even know Russ Heath did like horror-ish kind of stuff.
He did quite a few horror books for Atlas.
On the title, yeah.
He did a Spellbound 5, is it? Spellbound 5 with the giant worm in the cave.
I thought that was. Oh no, that's 3. That's Spellbound
Is it 3?
3.
No.
Yeah, Spellbound 5 is called Burgess Chasing a Skeleton.
Yeah. He did one with a giant hand coming out holding people. It's like a werewolf hand or something, a giant hand holding people. He did Suspense 19, where the evil female demon sort of devil character is forcing a ghoul to dig a grave for a guy who's standing there. Like, who is that grave for? Yeah, he did a lot of PCH.
Yeah. The title. Oh yeah.
But I feel like there's a bunch of, well, not a bunch, but maybe a short list. But there's some like where you see the top of you see like the side view of the water plane.
Yeah, a few of those
some
with the woman
EC one.
underwater. Yeah.
Yeah, there's the best one of that style is an EC book.
Yeah,
It's like, I think it's a Jack Davis cover.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And then there's another Worlds of Fear or something that's like that with a giant green hand holding the guy down.
I don't know if this one was good or not. It's a Heath cover, kind of one of his weaker ones, I'd say.
Well, it's battle number.
It's really busy cover.
Is it battle 6, number 6 or 2?
Yeah. 6.
6. Yeah, I have the highest graded copy of this.
Oh, nice.
Currently for sale, and
I mean, it's the most amazing Heath book you could ever find.
it's not. But you know what? I have the highest graded copy. So it's an early battle issue. It's a Heath cover. It's an ambush cover. It has a lot of action on it. I think it's cool, and I have the highest graded copy. It's a 6.0 off white to white.
And his books that I like the most are when there's more. He does like emotion. I feel really well. Like that face is great. So when you can't see it, it's just not as good. I feel like all the ones that I like.
But sometimes you got a busy Schoenberg style cover like this.
Yeah, Schoenberg would have done this.
Yeah, you're right. I agree with you too. I posted on my Instagram 2 Russ Heath war books today because today's his birthday. He would have been 94 years old today.
Oh wow!
But he's since passed. But today is his birthday. I posted 2 of my favorite Russ Heath war books on my Instagram today, and this is not one of them. But yeah, 2 of them more. One's a very sort of evocative cover. But yeah, you can check that out if you want to see it.
I was listening to some podcast, and it was like a original art, and they were talking about Michael Golden. I don't know if you guys know, you know him, but they were saying that the best people to ink him, other than himself, was, and there weren't many, I guess, but was Neil Adams inked him. I don't know how many times, and also Heath.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, when Heath did it. Apparently, after that, Michael Golden says that he totally changed the way he did stuff after seeing what Heath inked, how Heath inked his work.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, these are the 2. You don't have to make me big, JD, because you guys know these, but these are the 2 Heaths I posted today.
Oh, the Korean War of the Winter, yeah.
And then Battle.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
One of those is coming up, actually. Yeah, so you're looking at it with a big, emotion.
Yeah.
Ace.
Yeah. I don't know if this is anything good.
Nope.
You get it pretty cheap.
Another cool Kirby Black Magic.
Black Magic Kirby's.
That creature's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yep, there's Bolt 111, classic werewolf cover with the Catman 28 skull with the candle. It's got sort of a mask, 1 or 2 version of a devil on the side. It's a classic Cole, and it's one I want. It's on my list, and I just can't get one because I'm cheap, and I don't want to pay fair market value for it.
I love the green hooded guys too.
Yeah, it's a real cool cover. It's not that rare. They're fairly common for this genre. It's just a matter of finding the right one at the right price. But it's not a super rare book, and it's not super expensive. I would say like a mid-grade is like $1,000. It just I don't have it yet because I'm cheap and I don't want to pay. I made an offer on a 5.0, offered a guy $1,000 for it on the boards, and he wouldn't take it. I don't think he ever sold it. I think it was his copy that I saw recently in an auction that sold for $1,000. So what I offered is what it sold for. It might not have been his, but it was a 5.0. I think it was his. I'm not sure. But I mean, I'm making reasonable offers, but I don't want to overpay because it's not a rare book. But yeah, I really like this book a lot.
Here's a glimpse of another horrifying thing: the future when men are no longer needed.
I could use a break for a couple of weeks.
Here's another. I think this is nice.
Matt Baker did a lot of Fighting Marine covers.
Fighting Marines is one of those that are pricey because of the Bakerness of it.
Oh, wow.
St. John publication. He was doing a lot of stuff for St. John at the time.
Yeah, great. Like the clothing looks amazing on those Marines, and the smoke looks great.
There's too much. The cover area for the art is too small on these for me. the trade dress on top and the stuff on the side. There's not enough room for the art on this one about
Yeah.
it.
Half the cover sticking up. Love these books. These are
I
really
love
yeah. Love the noir style books.
This reminds me of a pre-Bat Tech.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh man, if there was a pre-Bat Tech with like a badass chick on there, that would be damn expensive. Holy
Yeah, it's all guys with guns, but I mean, she's got a Tommy gun there. She's not messing around and smoking a cigarette too. That was not en vogue for women at the time.
that is pretty good. Speaking of cigarette, this is off topic, I guess, but my dad, he was born in 50, and he was telling me how when he was a kid, people, like, he'd go to the doctor and he'd be in the little doctor's office and the doctor would be smoking.
Yeah.
It's just pretty funny. So we got, when I think is this before Frazetta did his stuff?
Well,
I mean, it's Dick Ayers mostly, and Frazetta did a few of them.
Frazetta did a few, but not as many as Dick Ayers. So
You can tell the difference between Dick Ayers and Frazetta.
Yeah. But was Frazetta on it before this or after this?
maybe
think
he was.
He was there first. I don't think it was. I think it was a mix and match.
Yeah,
Mm,
because Frazetta did a lot of the Tim Holt stuff on the as well. So
Yeah.
so they kind of both did it. You know.
Still pretty neat. At least the top half was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Dick Ayers also did all the interiors. So
Some more badass.
yep, Crimes
tricks.
by Women. That's a classic book right there. The redhead, evil ginger, leading the way. Some of
Dr.
these Star Spangled Bob are really hard to find.
Yeah, I like that one. That one's cool.
Good books, and a lot of them star Robin as the Boy Wonder, and they're expensive.
What number is that?
Number 122.
Yeah, the next book is one I'm trying to find as well. These are really hard to find. I forget the guy who did the covers. You'll not recognize his name. He did Batman during the time and did Adventure Comics, and this one.
One right on eBay there.
Is Dr. 13 a character?
Leonard Starr cover.
Is what?
Is
Leonard
Dr. 13 a character?
origin and first appearance of Ghostbreaker. Ghostbreaker covers begin. Full page ad for House of Mystery #1. That's kind of cool. Leonard Starr cover. Jim Mooney and Fred Ray art. Fred Ray did a lot of Superman stuff.
Yep. These were and the Robin titles with Robin on it. Some are really hard to find as well.
Yeah, the one on eBay, though,
but they have usually like the next one is kind of a horror one where not Whitney Ellsworth, what's his name? When Leonard Starr was doing this stuff, he kind of put like almost like a dark GA to some of these books. If you look at the next issue, and like the guy carves dolls called Dolls of Doom. I've always wanted that one, number 123. Check it out if you can. Magazine's haunted.
I could tell by the silence that it's crap.
No, this is all right. It's not great. The thing I like about that title, though, is the pastel colors. They're mostly Sheldon Moldoff covers, and they have horror themes with these pastel colors, and it's a cool mix. Yeah, I think it's a cool title, and there are some bangers in this title too. This is not one of them, but the first pre-horror book ever is one of these. This magazine is haunted #3 is the rarest PCH book there is. So yeah, it's cool stuff, and it has Dr. Death as the narrator. It's kind of the EC version of the Crypt Keeper.
Another Frankenstein.
Frankenstein and Ice.
First they find Frankenstein, then they find Captain America. They just can't win.
Where's Hell? Yeah. Forefront.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it worth much?
I don't think so. It doesn't have. It's just average, in my opinion.
I thought this was pretty crazy looking.
Yeah.
Shudder as you read The Hands.
Yeah, his
What?
hands turned into like lobster hands or something.
As a kid, I remember this movie gave me kind of nightmares. I didn't see the movie, but I saw like an ad for it or something called The Hand. Remember that? It was like Michael.
I remember the hand from there's a movie from the 80s called House.
Mm.
And the guy, the monster or whatever, gets his hand chopped off, and the hand's crawling around. I was a little kid when I saw that. It was kind of creepy.
Nice.
Who's that British actor who's like super? Michael Caine. Yeah, I think he was in The Hand. I don't know.
Oh, maybe.
Because for just like one summer we had HBO, and they showed all kinds of previews for stuff, and I was watching all kinds of weird shit that I didn't see the movie, but it was ads, and I was getting terrified. Weird Worlds,
Adventures in the Weird Worlds. Yeah.
Where Dead Men Walk.
I'll tell you, that one I do not see ever. And that is real cool. What number is that?
Number 13. Even cooler.
Yeah. Adventures into Weird Worlds 13. I've never see that one for sale. That's got to be a tough one.
Pretty neat.
Let's see if there's one on eBay.
Atomic War 2.
Yeah. Seen that.
There's 2 on eBay. So yeah, it's out there, but there just aren't many.
Yep.
Here's a Heath.
That's a Heath flamethrower cover. That would be a good one there.
Great book. Sergeant First Class.
Really good. Weird.
Dagger. Great pulpy book.
That's another 80s movie I liked. Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah, me too. With Dabney Coleman.
Yep.
Man, it's funny. It's one of those movies, like I feel like a lot of retro hits,
Buffalo Bob or Buffalo Bill? Buffalo Bob.
a lot of like 80s movies kind of have, you hear about them in the past like 5 years or so. I don't hear anyone ever saying anything about Cloak and Dagger. Exciting War, another flamethrower.
Mm-hmm.
That one is very pricey.
Stand or Die.
Flamethrower covers are super popular in this genre, and this one is a very expensive and an odd non-Atlas book that's near the top. But this one, for me, I think is one of the most graphic flamethrower covers because it's writhing and it's smoking and burning. It's brutal, man. This one is a fairly expensive book, and there's not many of them.
Yeah. And it's called Blazing Korean Battle Action.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty cool. Fantastic Worlds.
That could be Bollywood.
I don't know what all the yellow stuff is though. What is that? Is it,
Kind of plant. But I love those, sci-fi with the like glass fishbowl helmets are always cool.
Oh yeah.
Is this Baker then?
Yeah,
Look,
he signed it because he didn't sign anything except for westerns and war. He probably wrote his name on there. If you zoom in, you can see what it says.
wheel. Yeah. 2 issues of Frogman came out. One at the beginning.
Oh,
One at
it is.
pretty cool.
Yeah, those are cool books.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I figured this might be rarity because of the 100 pages.
Yeah, I mean, that's an annual. It's a feral. We looked at the other one. There was another one, a feral annual we talked about recently, and there ended up being 10 or 12 on the census, which was even more than we thought for a feral annual. But yeah, I think it's probably pretty rare. Yeah, feral annuals are tough, man. The Voodoo Annual 1, the other war annual we talked about.
Yeah.
Tough to find, and I guarantee they didn't hold up because being that thick of a book from back then probably had a low print run, and it probably fell apart so easily.
The Ajax Farrell was the
Cheap glue, cheap paper, and cheap glue, and it probably fell right apart.
worst publisher.
Yeah.
This was creepy looking.
Great book though.
King Cole.
Hmm?
King Cole is on the loose. I like that. There's a lot of cool stuff going on in this cover.
Yeah, that's not bad. I like it.
I,
I like the ghost lady down there or on the right side. It's pretty cool.
I think that's a Carl Burgess.
Mhm. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, I think that's and yeah, I do like that one. Yeah.
Oh, great Phantom Stranger.
Love that book. Yeah. I mean, it's just yeah.
I was disappointed to know because I always in the 80s and 90s, they presented the Phantom Stranger as this real badass mystical guy, stand
Yeah.
toe with like the Spectre and like Dr. Fate. And I read about this version of him, and he apparently doesn't even have like any powers or anything, which is disappointing.
It's just like a guy who shows up.
Yeah, but he does look kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. He's just the stranger. Yeah.
Decent planet.
Like
Nice
it was
purple.
Rivet. Yeah. Rivets and Lufine makes planets better.
Yeah, there's only a few planets on my list, but I only have one right now.
Pretty horrifying LB Cole there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool book.
Death Ride.
That's a part of his psychedelic movement there, where he did with Star, where all the swimmy colors. It's like an acid trip cover.
Yeah.
Speaking of acid trip, now it kicked in.
Yeah. I like this book a lot, and I sold my 4-5. I will plan to get another one down the road, but the one I had blazing bright blues and yellows on it.
Oh,
Beautiful copy. But I didn't pay much for it when I bought it raw. And then a couple of years down the road now, it's worth like 10 times what I paid for it. And so I sold it. But yeah, this is him doing his own cover swipe of Suspense Comics #9, which also has the eye and the swirly blue and yellow, but doesn't have the severed heads. So this one's better than Suspense 9.
that's cool.
Yeah, it's a cool book.
Oh, I like this one.
Oh yeah.
Bollywood.
Yep.
Classic.
Look at those folds on that dress. Nuts. This would be a great companion book with Shock Suspense 3.
Yep. That's what he took.
I don't know.
That's what you call Ken Bald at his best.
Yeah.
He makes the vampires and the snake ladies look exactly the same.
Space Adventures. Kind of neat little
Mhm.
title.
That's Saul Brodsky.
Living Money, Mummy.
Yeah, that's a cool mummy cover.
It is.
Here's the colors like I was talking about. This reminds me of that book you said if it was painted or not. I feel like they're doing similar things with the coloring in this one.
Yeah, Will Eisner probably on that, right?
I would assume.
I would say so. Yes, probably. Yeah, and that's probably taken from a panel from the Daily strip. Way back then. That's what they really were. They're not really Spirit Comics. They're just redos of the Daily the Daily stories from a couple of years from the 1940s. So classic. This has been. I've seen this a few times. I just think it's just ridiculously cool. Kind of if you look at a modern book, it's Journey into Mystery 633. It is a Stephanie Hans variant. This is what this always reminds me of. It's very hard to find. The book's probably a $600 book at least. It's a Loki venomized, but it looks like that coming out of the
Oh, nice.
yeah.
It's kind of realistic looking. It's pretty neat.
I'm going to show you that book just because I
Something like this.
Stephanie Hans Journey 633.
Yeah, this one is what is this, a Charlton, I think. There's some weird covers in this title. It's weird. It looks like almost has a Salvador Dali feel to it, like the style.
Yeah.
Without realism. But it's like if you crossed Albrecht Dürer with Dali, you would get that. I don't know if you guys know who Durer is. He's
I'm going to show you this book right now. You see what I
I
mean?
think Gary would be turning over in his grave listening to that, but yeah, I could.
About this book.
Yeah, that does look similar.
Yeah, always something I've always said that Another World. This is where it looks like this is Stephanie Hans, and it's next to impossible to find.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it does.
cool looking book though.
Oh yeah, I asked her to draw. I asked her if she had one, and when I saw her at a C2E2, I said, "Hey, I need a copy of that." She goes, "Oh yeah, everybody asks about that." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's a fortune." There we go.
And we got this one. Just looked kind of scary to me.
Oof. Yeah,
It's kind of weird.
it's not sure what's going on. It's just a head.
And I think this is the artist who did 3 of them from this title, like a Dutch artist or something. What the hell is his name? I almost think it starts with a K or something. Let me see if I can find.
Strange Terrors.
There's something about this that's this artist. There's only a couple books by him. Yeah, I'm not sure. Strange Terror.
It's just got that kind of, it's away from your typical comic style, so it kind of makes the horror seem a little bit realer somehow because it's different.
Yeah, it's very unique.
There's Wallywood again.
Oh, that's right. That's. I would never think that's a Wallywood, but
Yeah, William Ekgren.
William Ekren. Okay.
And his most famous is, I think, Weird. Oh, what the hell is it called?
yeah,
Weird Horrors or something.
Suspense Detective.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, with that candle, it's a little weird. Okay, I see. It's lighting the fuse.
Gonna light the fuse to burn the nitro.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here's William Ekgren. He did some covers for St. John, and he has these ones with sort of the lines.
Oh, kind of Van Goghish, yeah.
Yeah. So this one is a very popular one of his. William Ekgren, I don't know. And then he did this other one, which I think is probably a little better.
Ooh.
But if you see all these little lines in there.
Yeah. Definitely a signature style.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, it's William Ekgren. And these 2 Weird Horrors are the 2 that he's known for, but he did Strange Terrors and Weird Horrors are both those St. John's where William Ekgren did a few, and that's it. I mean, he worked on those, and that's it. And Joe Kubert did some, and I don't know who else. I think Gus Ricka did one or something, but
Maurice Whitman did one.
And we got a Tomb of Terror here.
Cheap title. Cheap title.
Unseen.
yeah, that's a good title. Unseen is starting to gain more popularity as time goes on, and more people have gotten into PCH. The Unseen is a pretty good title.
It's got a lot of great, cool covers on the whole run. And
it's standard, so it's always challenging to find a nice condition copy. And it's those are nice. Those are fun books to hunt for. Those standards, and especially Unseen. Out of the Shadows is another one. They're fun to hunt for because they're tough to find and they're always beat.
War.
We got 3 wars going on this time. Well, 4. We got war, and then another one on the left.
Yeah.
Just in case. Knifed. War Report.
Flamethrower.
Flamethrower.
Cover. Not one of the better ones, but it would be on a list of collectors who are going after those. And that's a Feral, so that would be tough. Or Ajax Feral. I think that says Feral on it.
Feral, yeah. I think Ajax was just pre-51 Ferals.
Yeah, I've never researched it to know, so it's just I just say Feral.
Yeah, that's what I started doing.
Weird horrors.
Cool cover.
Yeah, that's not bad. I bet a high grade of that would look really cool.
Battle.
The Fight for the 45.
Yeah, not bad.
1911 45. There you
Out
go.
front.
That's a
Right.
rest. That
That's
is
right. Yep.
awesome. I love that.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Again, with the big faces. This was just creepy.
I used to own a copy of this, and I bought it because it was creepy, and it's hard to find again. This title is tough. This one reminded me of The Wizard of Oz, where she sends her flying monkeys out.
Yep.
Yeah.
What this reminded me of.
Flying Crickets.
Yeah, it's like beyond number 23 or 25. It doesn't even have a number on the front, but I bought it on eBay. I bought it on eBay for like $20, like 4 years ago. I had it for a while.
Pretty cool Black Rider cover.
Yeah, it's real cool.
Yeah. The dog's getting into this.
That's Shipwreck's dog. Looks like Shipwreck.
Confirmed kill.
Looks like Shipwreck, no? From G.I. Joe?
Shipwreck had a parrot, not a dog.
Like, I'm just saying.
Although he did hang out with Snake Eyes, and Snake Eyes had a.
You could have had a Doberman.
Although I'm sure the Army people would be mad that you're saying they look like the Navy guys.
Wait.
But
That was like a squid.
Fierce, Fantastic Fierce. Goofy looking skulls.
Well, I'll tell you, Fantastic Fears is pretty much all goofy skulls. I have one of my favorite PCH books is Fantastic Fears #6. It's that pink cover.
Yeah, that's the terrifying one.
Yeah,
That's Farrell, but that's Farrell as well, I'm pretty sure.
yeah, that's the only Feral I own, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan.
It's
It's more of a cartoony feel for me.
terrifying for some reason. I love that one they got there. This is a little weird too.
That's your boy right there, Ken Bald.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Yeah, that's all right. I don't know what's going on there, like pods or something.
Yeah, he's taking out the trash, it looks like. It looks like it's on a stick. It looks like one of them hobos walking around with the alien.
Cocoons.
Yeah.
Pretty nice
Great.
artwork.
Yeah, I think all of the EC war books, for the most part, I'm sure there might be exceptions, but I think they're all Kurtzman covers.
Mhm.
Kurtzman covers.
Yep.
Well, there's
pretty
yeah.
much all the EC war books were Kurtzman
Well,
covers.
who's the guy? I think it's a different guy that has the more cartoony style, and he did some more.
Who? For E EC?
Yeah. You see, I forget who's this artist?
I don't know. I'm just saying Kurtzman.
Because that's kind of realistic looking. There's another guy.
Yeah, Kurtzman is more cartoony, sort of.
I have it right here. Let's
Sort
see.
of Basil Wolverton style.
Basil. Nice, good call.
But I don't know who did this. It does look pretty realistic. I mean, it looks like it's Frazetta or something, really.
This EC guy.
Yeah, that's Kurtzman.
Okay. So
And
that's
this does not look the same style at all. So
Artist.
I don't know who it is.
oh god. This book's heavy.
What
I
number?
think the last Captain Marvel, right?
Yeah, last one.
That's Frontline Comment. Frontline Combat.
Last news story until 1973.
I like how they went out like that. That's cool. It reminds me of the Charlie's Angels logo.
Oh yeah.
We're showing our age today.
Beetlejuice.
Sorry. Charlie's Angels and our little runaway.
Term about Walking Dead.
That was a Wally Wood cover.
Oh, the front line?
Yeah, Frontline Combat. That's a Wally Wood.
Yeah. I could see it. That detail's so awesome.
And it looks like he did a a lot of covers for Frontline Combat, along with Jack Davis, John Severin.
Like working for EC. I mean, in one of his canon books, he pays tribute to. He kills off the other artists in one of his canon books.
Walking Dead.
Yeah, this one, these Atlas zombie covers are sort of popular these days. It's all right. I think, is that Bill Everett?
I don't know.
I don't know. That was a good question.
I like this.
Yeah, that's cool. Men's Adventures 25.
Shrunken
Yeah, that's on my list. I like that one a lot.
Brings my head.
There seems to be quite a few on the census, but then I never see them come up for sale. So I don't know what's up with that.
Joker has like 10 of them.
Maybe. I mean, the census has a lot of them on there, and then I never see them come up. So I don't know what's up, man.
That's a great one.
Well, think about it. You know,
That's
those, there's those people on Instagram who have like 10 or 15 of those rare books, and they've been around a long time. So back when those books were just, you know, it's like when we buy a cool looking 80s book, and it's like, you know, $10 or something, that they were able to buy this stuff for that cheap back in, you know, the 90s or something.
DS, this is Russ Heath for sure, right?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, this is Heath. This is Heath. I wrote it down.
The guy laying down looked like Heath. He's really his use of shadow, and he has like it's not, he has broad sort of line work and heavy shadowing.
He renders more than most of that era. He renders like he's doing the 60s superhero.
Is there a Heath book that a character doesn't have his mouth open?
I doubt it.
Yeah. He would have done a good version of this.
Filthy, right? Yeah. I have a copy of that. I've had that. I've bought and sold this one just because it used to come around a lot.
It's a pretty classic cover, I'd say.
Classic.
That's what I would use it for. There's Baker.
Nice Baker. Pretty cool looking thing. You used to have this, right, DS, didn't you?
I did used to have it. This reminds me of a painting called Death and the Miser. But this is a really tough book to find with a good color strike. It's always washed out. Very tough, because you have a good picture here with the purples and the reds, but it's always the ones I've seen and the one I owned, it's like washed out. You can't find a good color strike on these. But yeah, I used to have a full run of that title.
Nice.
Pretty neat.
Yeah, it's cool.
I like this one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think
it's hard to tell. But it's a little small, but it looks like a cool drawing of death. That's pretty neat too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nice.
The Unseen. Who did this? It's pretty good.
I don't know. It's probably an uncredited.
Yeah, I'm gonna say most of that whole of standards are uncredited.
I feel like you could do a whole book of these couples in these little boats.
The Tunnel of Love is not what you think it is.
Because I feel like there's so many of the like same couple on like or all these boats right about to get it in all these horror books. That would make a funny video.
Oh, that's a Nick Cardy cover.
This is maybe my favorite Heath War book.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's
Damn,
tough.
that's good.
I think there's the one on eBay that's like a 3.0.
Yeah, I saw that.
It hasn't sold, honestly. I mean, it's like $100, 100 and something bucks for a nice 3.0 copy, 3035. I'm surprised I haven't sold it. It's a really cool book.
I just feel I would want, like, I almost, well, you know, it's almost 400, so it's getting up there. But I feel like I wanted one. If I were to get one, I would try to get one without the creases. It's a little hard.
I'd like to see the interiors as well.
The lighting is awesome in that. Oh, more burning. There's a lot of burning in the
Flamethrowers.
That's a Heath cover too.
And that
Book.
That is one of the for me, that is one of the top 5 of all the Atlas War books. Is this one?
It's up there. It's not so much the action; it's the gray tone cover itself.
Yeah, it's just the details on the tank and just the mood of it, the snow, the tracks. It's just where the snow has fallen on the clothing and the hats of the guys. It's just so well done. I always say that it reminds me this should be hanging in a gallery instead of on a comic book cover. It's like a really good painting that should be hanging in a museum. It's just a quality work of art, and yeah, I love it. It's one of the best Atlas War books. I think it really is for me. Love it.
I think I would like it more if he had a gun instead of a mine detector.
Well, you can't please everyone, Knights.
But the lighting on his arms is so awesome.
Yeah, real cool.
So cool. Another great book.
Yeah, that's 214, I think. Yeah, Frazetta. 212, 213, and 214 are the three best.
Yeah,
it's 214.
And composition of that, the contour of that planet is just so well placed. It's awesome.
I love it.
Yeah. I feel like you'd have to I would want a nice one of this too.
Yeah.
A 4.0 of that just sold for like $2,000. That's what I'm saying. Nice copy. I mean, I tried to buy a 4.0 on Heritage a couple weeks ago, and it sold for $2,200.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, man. I didn't think it was going to go for that much.
Mm-hmm.
They had a 212 and a 214. Both 4.0, 4.5, or maybe it was a 5.0, 4.0 and a 5.0, I think. I was going to buy both of them for $2,000. I was going to just grab both of them. I was going to pay $1,000 each, and they went for $2,000 each. So I was only but I was going to just pay strong and pay $1,000 for each of them and buy both. That was my plan for that night. The whole week waiting, and then they went for $2,000 each. So I was halfway there.
I've had those auctions.
Yeah, I don't know where the prices came from all of a sudden.
End up getting nothing.
So then I picked up that Beware 10 for $2,000. I feel like that's slightly better than even the funnies, so I felt good paying that for the Beware.
Crazy clown. Creepy clown. Hey.
There we go.
There it is.
It's an interesting Marvel Tales. Feel like you don't see that color too often. The green and purple.
I like all the purple guys.
You got green.
Marvel Tales is horror.
You are me.
Ah!
Big robot.
Yeah.
That's a Murphy Anderson cover, I think, and pretty. This book sells good. It is not a lot of them, and when they come up, they sell pretty well. It's a sneaky hot book, honestly.
Yeah, it's that stage of it's that period of DCs that are really hard to find in high grade.
Yeah. Any 52, 53, 54, 55 DCs, any grade are really hard to find in readable copies almost. So T-Man.
Big explosion there in the background is pretty cool. H-bomb.
Yeah, not bad.
I like this one.
Yeah, that's
Mendo's.
I always thought this was earlier than 54 for some reason. This was
It's terrible.
At least he's not riding a bike and
terrible.
It's terrible. Superman Pimp at a Macy's Day Parade. It's terrible.
It's terrible.
Terrible book.
And then what some consider the start of the Silver Age.
Yeah.
That's I would argue that was what if I were Batman?
I'd still give it to Showcase 4.
Yeah, because of the Barry Allen new character.
Yeah, that's a massive book. This one struggles to go up in value.
Yeah.
It just I know this book is trying so hard to be pricey and it never gets there. That's how every time I see it.
Always price it at a high price, and then within 24 hours it's always 25% off.
Yeah, it doesn't sell for the prices people want, but this book is trying so hard to be something that it's just not. And I see it tried so hard and it just never gets there. For year after year after year, it just never gets to where it wants to be. It wants to be up there as one of the first Silver Age books, and it just can't get there. It tries so hard and it doesn't make it. But it's definitely a cool book, and it's a nice historical book. But
It is. It is a good book.
and it's the first Martian Manhunter. I mean, it's a nice key.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a key. So
Well, that's it.
that's it. All right. Well, let me thank everybody again. Thank you all for being a friend.
I think everyone's asleep.
Yeah. Well, we had a lot of people still around watching this. So
1 o'clock on the East Coast.
oh yeah. So we're gonna end it right now. I want to thank everybody. Thank you. Do you guys want to plug anything before we head out?
I don't have anything.
All right.
I got nothing.
Thank you for being